Hey everyone, it's James. Just before the episode begins, want to put out a quick, maybe potential trigger warning for this episode. At a certain point, the Harry Potter franchise does come up, and we do talk about J.K. Rowling's opinions a little bit, and we do dive into that. Not too much. It's not enough to really, I think, dissuade anyone from listening. But we do kind of go back and forth on cancel culture and talk about some people who have done some horrible things in Hollywood. So if that's not really your jam, when it comes up, just skip ahead like 5 minutes. You'll be totally fine. But just letting you know so that way you're not shocked by it when it shows up. Uh, okay, enjoy the show and hope you like it.
Make me laugh, make me cry. Don't go in there, you're going to die. Grab a drink from the room, pass the popcorn and away we go. I was a teenage film snob, baby. I was a teenage film snob, baby.
Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. And guys, it's another solo show. And we're diving back into the world of Instagram today. We've had a few people from the industry on recently. Today's guest is actually an old friend of the show. They've actually kind of done the show before. They are on maybe one of the most infamous shows in as much as it had to end abruptly because I was recording in a quiet room in Scotland and my daughter woke up and kind of ended the show before we could get through an entire list, which has never really happened before. So very excited to have today's guest back on. It's one-on-one today. Previously, she was on with another guest, and we'll talk about that in a second. Today's guest is a huge fan of Taylor Swift, which I think is very important to note. She is a writer, a reader. She does all sorts of cool creative stuff on YouTube. If you haven't checked it out, we're going to pimp it later so you can go check it out because she writes stories inspired by the music of Taylor Swift. She is one half of the podcast An Unkindness of Ravens. And I don't even know if she's really a movie fan, but I like her. We've had a lot of fun talking in the past, and we've had some very interesting conversations about Mickey 17. So please welcome back to the show, Kayla. Welcome back, Kayla.
Thank you.
Nice to have you back.
It's good to be back. It's been a while.
We were just saying before the show, like we talked for about 40 minutes, which I wasn't expecting, and that just goes to show how much I do talk. In fact, it's more than 40 minutes because we started before the scheduled appointment time. You were online. I was like, all right, I'll just jump on. Yeah, it was about a year ago that I had you on the show. We were kind of promoting the podcast you were on. And then my daughter had a nightmare and I had to end things. I'd never had that happen before. So how are you? How have things been?
Things have been pretty good. We moved from Texas to Ohio, so trying to get settled into the house, and then we got lazy. So basically just working in the hot sun all day, coming home, taking a nap, and hoping I have energy after that to do something.
I can 100% relate. I was telling you before that we started recording that I moved into this house 5 years ago. Right behind me, it looks amazing. Like I've really kind of cultivated a background. Other side of my garage, you cannot get through. Like it's an absolute
Oh.
nightmare over there. So it looks like I've got my life together, but I don't, Kayla, not even a little bit.
You only need the one wall together. It's fine.
That's it. Like I'm seeing boxes that were in a truck 5 years ago. I'm like, I need to see what's in that box. We'll get to it eventually. That's a common thing I've noticed speaking to other friends in America that like a lot of people just move state, like almost on a whim. It feels like. How was the move for you?
Um, it was pretty good. We always knew that we weren't going to be staying in Texas, or I guess after a while we were there because my husband was getting his PhD,
Mhm.
and we always thought we would kind of leave Texas, but then we thought, oh, well, maybe we're going to stay here because of his work and everything. But then he got laid off because there were a bunch of layoffs because one company absorbed another, and
Oh, that sucks.
so he ended up getting another job, and we moved back to Columbus, Ohio, which is where we were before we went to Texas. So it was pretty nice because now we have family and friends around us now that we didn't have like 18 hours away.
Oh, that's good. That's what I'm like. My geography is terrible. Like Australian geography, I kind of have a handle on, but American, I've got no idea. So is Ohio a big move from Texas, or is it like a state next to it? Or you said 18 hours? It must be a
Yeah,
little bit of a trip.
my geography is terrible as well. So yeah, it's we usually do the trip in 2 days
Wow.
because not we have animals that we have to,
Of course.
travel with, but So yeah, it's if you were to go straight from where we were in Texas to where we are here now in Ohio, it would have been about 18 hours if you had no stops whatsoever
Wow, that is a big
of a
move.
drive. So
That's
yeah.
that's crazy, and I'm always surprised by that. But I guess it's because there's just so many more people in the country and on the road. Because Australia and America, people don't really know this all like a lot, but same size countries. Like Australia and the US are
Oh,
about the same landmass, but the difference is you got about 10, 15 times more people than we do.
oh,
Uh,
do we?
yeah, because we've got like, and I haven't done the count in a while. Like I haven't done my survey, but I think it's about 25 million in Australia, and you guys have what, like 300 million or something.
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
It's something crazy like that. I didn't even put it together. I was like, wow, like that's insane. Um,
There's that stereotype again, which I guess is a true one of other people knowing more about America than Americans do. So
I mean, but it's an entertainment podcast, so don't take any of it seriously. Like I could be way off. I could be like, James, you're going off 2,000 numbers. Australia now has 40 million. I don't think we do. I think we're pretty still like compared to the rest of the world because most of our country is uninhabitable. Like you can only really live on the coasts of Australia. No one really lives in the middle. So
Oh,
um,
okay.
yeah, we've got that big old
Didn't know
desert in
that.
the middle. Yeah. Um, like some people do, but those people are, well, I was gonna say people are crazy. I was say those people are crazy, but that might be offensive. I don't think it is. Like it's very hot. Like it gets to like 50 degrees Celsius in the middle of the country, which is like 120
Oh,
Fahrenheit or something like that.
Jesus. Which they're a little they can handle different things, I guess,
Yeah,
than most people can.
my and again like this could be misinformation, so take it with a grain of salt. Remember, it's an entertainment podcast. This is not it, but when I was a kid I was told that in the middle of Australia a lot of the businesses are underground, like because it's cooler. So you would have like a, instead of like having a shop or a bar on top of the land, it's built underground because that way it escapes the heat more. But I don't know if that's true or whether
Mm.
someone was tricking a 7-year old. um
Sounds like it should be a movie of like some kind of a horror movie or something.
we do. There's a really, I was gonna say famous, but that might not be true. But there is a kind of an Australian exploitation. They did in the 70s and 80s. Australia like got really into weird cinema, um,
Oh.
and there's a really great documentary about it called Not Quite Hollywood. It's all about the weird Australian cinema of the 70s and 80s. Fantastic documentary, totally worth your time. But there's a movie called Wake in Fright, and it's about the school teacher who moves to, yeah, like the middle of Australia, and every night they just all get drunk, and he just goes on this weird like booze filled trip for like weeks, or it seems like weeks on end, and he has no idea like what's going on, and like they're out hunting kangaroos and people are like robbing him and like messing up his hotel room and stuff. It's really bizarre. um so there
Oh
was
my
at least
gosh.
one, at least one, but there was no underground hotels. They were all on top. So I don't know if the underground thing is true, but I'd like to believe it is.
We need a horror movie of the underground hotels that may or may not exist.
Wow, we really got off track. That does not bode well. So like, we're gonna keep this one short, and already we're talking about weird stuff. Well, you've moved to Ohio. Well, that's really good. I'm glad that you're around friends and family. That's really important. Also, less chainsaw massacres in Ohio, as far as I'm aware. Texas kind of
Yeah,
notorious for it. So,
yeah.
um, so yeah, so we had you on the show. I know. I was like, I've got to make one Texas joke. So we had you on the show a while ago, and I barely remember. I think we were talking about teen movies the last time you were on, because you were about to
Mhm.
launch, or you just launched a podcast all about a teen centric show. But I can't remember if we actually dove into your history with films. If we have, apologies to everyone, including yourself, but we'll do it again. Um, I don't know this about you. Are you a movie fan? I know you're a music fan and you like
Yeah.
books and stuff, but are you a
Um,
movie fan?
I am, and this is gonna sound terrible though, but when you asked for 5 of my favorite movies, I was really struggling, so I was going with things based off of, like, that of certain, like, nostalgic purposes.
That's fine.
Because over the last, like, I'd say 5 years, I've kinda switched from watching more movies to more TV shows. So, typically, I'll put on a TV show now instead of a movie, but I actually went to college. I wanted to go for film,
Oh
and
wow.
then I couldn't afford it, so I went and got a communications degree with an emphasis in film. So film was what I wanted to do for the longest time. I wanted to, because I write. I originally wanted to be like a screenwriter. I wanted to write movies.
Yeah, me too.
Um, oh, you too? Yeah.
Yeah. Now I just
Oh,
talk about movies instead. It's cheaper. Yeah. So,
a little cheaper. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go on.
Oh, no, you're good. So yeah, it feels really weird because I used to watch movies all the time and now I like struggle. And when I was trying to come up with my movies, I was like, oh, I loved that movie. That was one of my favorites years ago. And I was like, oh, but I haven't seen it in years. I don't even think I could like remember details to talk about it aside from a couple things. So like I was struggling. Like I really, I think because limited series have become so popular that I've
Mm.
just kind of become more of a limited series or just series per like television in general rather than movies. But film was what I wanted to do for a long, long time and would still love to. I'm actually writing a screenplay like with my friend now.
Oh,
So
that's very cool.
trying to get back into it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I feel like it's very much a college kid thing. Like I know I'm probably into movies the most now than I ever was before, but I took a dip as well. Like when I was in university, between high school and going to university and stuff like that, all I had was time. So I had
Mhm.
the time to go to the movies, or like back in my day, go to like Blockbuster or go to the video store and get like 20 VHSs or DVDs. And I could just plow through them because I had no commitments. It's just like, yeah, what is it? It's 2 a.m. on a Wednesday. Cool. Let's throw in RoboCop. Like, let's do it.
Yeah. Or
Whereas,
like you could watch the same movie over and over again and now you're like, well, I've already seen that. So
mm,
maybe I should watch something else because I have limited time to do things.
yeah, it does get tough. I try to. My goal each year is to watch 200 per year, and I'm like, I'll do one new one rewatch. So I try to get a little bit of
Mm.
everything in. I think this year I think I'm closing in on 300, so I'm doing okay. But
Oh.
I also don't watch things in one sitting anymore, unless I'm at the theaters. I very rarely watch something in one go. It's like I've watched 40 minutes, now it's time to go to work, and I'll watch the rest on my break or something like that. So
Oh.
I hear you, and we're in the world of streaming. Like it's the same. Like I don't really watch movies with my wife. We watched. I don't know when this episode's going to drop, but at the time, Happy Gilmore 2 just came out about a week ago, so we watched that last Friday. But that was the first movie she and I had watched together in ages. I couldn't tell you what
Oh,
last movie we watched
wow.
together previously because we don't go like when I go to the movies, I go to the movies by myself, or I go to the movies with my daughter, or sometimes with a friend. Like my daughter's getting way into movies now, so like I'll take her to the movies. Yeah, you're like, yeah, nice.
Yes.
I and it's funny you mentioned rewatching. I just showed her School of Rock for the first time a couple of months back.
Did she
Um,
like it?
she did. It was probably a little bit too talky for her, like because obviously it's PG over here in Australia. It's PG, so it's not just like there's a lot. There's story in it, like, and she's just starting to get her head around story. Like the Disney stuff is perfect for her. 90 minutes, lots of bright colors and animation. School of Rock, there's a little bit more conversation going on, but she did like it, and she liked it because it has Jack Black, and she knows him from Minecraft. She saw the Minecraft movie.
Oh, okay.
And I was explaining to her, I'm like, this movie, School of Rock, when it came out, I was in school still. I was 12 or 13 when it came out, maybe a little bit older. Maybe I was 14. And I was like, and I watched that movie when I didn't get to see it in theaters. I worked in a video store. Oh, so I must have been 15.
Mm.
People are like, oh my God, just get on with it, James. I must have been 15 because I worked in the video store and we got a screener and I took that home and I watched it every day, at least once a day for 3 weeks. So I would
Oh,
have watched School of Rock. So it's probably my most watched movie by default because when it came out on VHS and I had that screener, I watched it probably 30 times in less than a month because I would take it with me everywhere. Like we would go to parties, we'd go to friends' house. I'm like, have you seen this? Like you've got to check out this movie. Like people aren't talking about it. Go watch this movie, and I would watch it with them. So like,
it's
so I
nice to have that movie though.
yeah, so
Kind
I would
of
yeah. So
comfort movie.
that one and shockingly like Lord of the Rings, which is like 3 hours long per movie. Those are the ones I probably watched the most in my life. Um, but yeah, you're doing it the right way though, because 5 movies is a really impossible question. It's not very fair, and most people, I find the ones who I have the best conversations with, the ones who lean into the nostalgia. It's like these are the ones that I really liked. Whereas some people, very rarely, some people are like, oh, I want to come up with a list that's going to impress people. It's like, oh, don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't impress
Well,
people, that's not fun.
I don't know why I'm even having a hard time. Like I know I've watched movies
Yeah,
recently, but I'm just like, what have I watched that was really like I know there have been movies I liked a lot, but were they I don't know why it was so difficult for me. So
that's okay.
there are some there I almost put a couple on there. There was one, like I said, there was one that I'll just go ahead and say it since it's not on the list. I almost put Donnie Darko because I loved that movie.
Ah, yeah.
I loved it, but do you guys curse on this?
You can say whatever you like.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife is
But
notorious
like,
for dropping the
okay.
worst cursing on this show. So yeah, it's
Well, I remember like bits of it because I used to watch it and it used to be like one of my favorites. I had a little shirt that said, "Do you believe in time travel?" Little book. But like the things that I can remember the most is the little girl going, "What's a fuck ass?"
fine.
And then the little boy going, "I'm not afraid anymore." And I'm
Yeah.
like, why are those the two things I remember the most from that movie?
Yeah, the cursing is really good in that movie. Like,
Mm.
I've never had a problem with cursing. I grew up in a very strict household where my old man did. But I'm like, if you can use it creatively and entertainingly, like, then there's no limits.
Mhm.
Like sometimes you'll watch something like Sausage Party, which is I haven't watched it since it came out. I remember watching. I'm like, man, there's too much cursing in this film, and it feels like they're only cursing because it's an animated film, and they want to show what Pixar would look like if it was dirty. So sometimes I'm getting to that age. Where I'm like, this is a bit too much. But if you use it creatively, like in Donnie Darko, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
That's such an edgy choice because that came out when I was in high school as well. I'm like everyone who was into film was into Darko. It became like a religion.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I didn't realize how big of like a following it had when I first
Mm,
watched it because I remember seeing the trailers and I think I was too young like to really have any interest in watching it
mm.
when it came out. I thought it looked really scary and I usually loved horror movies, but for some reason I was really scared of what they call him. Was it Frank? Was that his name? The
Yeah.
bunny? Like I was so scared I didn't want to watch it, which is weird because I always just gravitated towards horror.
Mm.
But like for some reason that scared me.
It's
So
it's because it's so weird. Like it's very
yeah.
weird. Yeah, I think I was like 15 or 16 when it came out. I got a couple of years on you. So you would have been what, like 10 when it came out. So that's fair. Like
Yeah,
if you
why do I
want
feel like I was younger than that? Maybe I
Well,
wasn't.
maybe it was earlier. Like again, my
Mhm.
as you get older, Kayla, which you'll find out one day, is that the brain starts to fail, and that's what I'm going through at the moment. So it could have been even earlier. But yeah, if you liked, first of all, if you were under the age of 10, you liked horror films, then you had a very traumatic upbringing, which I'm jealous of because I wasn't allowed to watch horror films. But yeah, I think it's reasonable to be 7 or 8 or 9 and be scared of Frank from Tony Darko for sure. Um, but that opens up another question for me. So I was going to ask when the love of film began because I didn't know you were going to be a
Okay.
screenwriter. So that's very cool. But now you tell me you were watching horror films before the age of 10. So has this been a lifelong love affair for you? Have you always loved movies?
Um, I think it started I've always loved movies, but I
Mm,
think I was too young to really know that I liked the storytelling
mm,
aspect of it. I just knew that I would get obsessed with certain movies or certain
mm.
TV shows and I would like just I would think about them all the time. Like I'd fall
Yeah.
asleep to them so that they could seep into my dreams kind of thing.
Nice. Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was like wanting to say 11 or 12, I can't remember because the movie's on my list, so I don't know if we want to go into it yet. There was a movie that I think came out in 2004, but I watched it on pay-per-view, you guys, pay-per-view.
Pay per view.
um, and I don't know if it was still 2004, if it hit 2005 at that point.
Okay.
So I was 11 or 12, and I remember watching it, and the movie made me want to be a writer. And then I went to my room like that night and started writing.
What was
So
okay? So it is okay. So it is on your list. That's okay. Like we'll come back to it proper. But what was it?
uh, it was Saw, the first one.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. That changed everything. I remember like that. That was a really cool story for us because those two guys are Australian, obviously, and they tried to make it in Australia and they got rejected. Further proof that even 20 years on, Australia doesn't know what it's doing with its film industry. Like we were talking before about the difference between America and Australia, and I love working here, but we're very much a sporting nation. Like all of our money
Mm.
goes to our sport, very little goes to our film and television.
Oh.
And that's why you see all of our greatest artists move to America because America's like, we've got billions of dollars. And,
You're like,
those,
here, just have
yeah,
some. Yeah.
exactly. Whereas over here in Australia, it's very hard to get a film made. Um, and they don't like
Interesting.
to use a lot of money on it. And it's interesting because like Disney and Warner Brothers and stuff, they will use the animators in Australia. Like if you like watch a Marvel film like these days, you'll see like Film Victoria because like our animators and our artists get to do all the CG work. But
Oh.
So
It's interesting.
Americans are giving us jobs for film, but not so much in Australia.
Come on,
Again,
Australia.
entertainment podcast, take with a grain of salt. I could be wrong, but my understanding is, yeah, Saw's. Yeah, okay, we will talk. We'll wait because there's so much we could talk about with Saw. But again, leaning into your being a horror fan, that was how old would you have been then? Because I was. That's 2003
Um,
Saw, so I am
uh,
15, which makes you 10.
yeah, I think it came out in 2004, and whenever it was on pay-per-view, it was newer. Like, obviously, they have the newer stuff on pay-per-view, or at least I was looking at the newer stuff on pay-per-view. So I don't know if it was 2004 or 2005 because I remember it was made in 2004. I don't, or released in 2004 anyway. Um,
You're right.
so I
The
was,
short was
yeah,
2003. That's where I'm getting confused
yeah.
because there's a short as well. Yeah.
So, oh goodness, let's see.
Well,
You're doing that.
2005. That's okay. 2005.
I was 11 or 12.
Yeah, I turned 17 in 2005, so you're 11 or 12. That is a ripe old age to be watching Saw. And granted, the first one's not too bad. It's definitely the tamest of them. But you do have a scene where, like, Shawnee Smith hacks open a guy's guts to find a key.
Mhm.
Like, it's pretty brutal.
Oh. My
Uh,
mom likes horror movies. There are some she wouldn't let me watch. Like, I remember I wanted to see Hostel in theaters, and she's like, "No." She's like, "No, you're not seeing that in theaters."
that's that's an Australian R, which is a hard R. Like, I talk about the ratings between America and Australia quite a bit because your ratings are very different to ours. You guys only have like 3 or 4. We've got like 6 or something. And so to watch an R-rated movie in Australia, you must be 18. You cannot watch an R-rated film until you're 18. But a lot of the stuff that is rated R in America is actually a lower classification here. So, for example, Die Hard
Oh,
is rated R in America. For us, it's something called M. You just need to be 15 to watch it. And even then,
interesting.
you don't need to be 15. You can have an adult guardian with you, and that's fine.
Mhm.
So you can
Okay.
be like, so I could, like when I was in high school, like we were like 13 years old, we could go and see Die Hard in cinemas. That would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a few extra
Wow.
steps. So we've got M. So we don't have PG-13. We got PG. We got M, and then MA. And MA is restricted. You must be 15 to watch those movies. And Saw was an MA. So at 15 you can go and see
Oh.
Saw. But yeah, so we got a couple of extra steps. Hostel, that's a hard R. Like you need to be 18 to see that one. They're melting
Yeah,
eyeballs in that one. So that one's pretty
I can
cool.
understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I think also, and this is again a little bit off topic, but I think the attitude towards what is considered extreme is different as well. Like in America, there seems to be a lot more patience for violence in movies,
Mhm.
but less patience for cursing and sexuality.
Yeah.
Whereas in Australia, it's almost the reverse. Like we tend to be a lot
Mm.
harder on the violence stuff. Like once it gets too violent, that's when it gets pretty serious. But like you can, I think like we have PG films with nudity in it.
Yeah,
Like
well, I think here in America, we look at it very, like, I mean, obviously, I don't wanna say we're very modest or anything, because obviously we're not, but for some reason, when it comes to watching it,
mm,
like, I remember seeing, like, a French film and being, because I was, like, in high school, I think, I can't
mm.
remember what it was, and I remember being shocked that there was, like, and it wasn't anything, like, sexual or anything, right? It was just they were there, like, there was, like, a nude, like, kid, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Is that, are they allowed to do that?" And my mom's like, "It's France." Like, "Yeah, it's
Well,
fine."
that's pretty much every Superman movie. Every Superman movie, there's a naked baby at some point. They gotta show him with his trunks
Well,
on.
it was like a, I think an 8, 9-year-old.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, that is different.
infants are kind of different, but like, and I remember just being so shocked because I was like, you would like, I wasn't, that wasn't something I would ever expect to see because we would never show like a nude child in a film. And
Yeah, I think like in the modern day, it's gotten stricter here in Australia, because like obviously, without getting too dark on an entertainment show, obviously in the world of the internet stuff like that, like we know a lot more now than we did back then. But I think like previously, definitely in the 70s and 80s, it was considered quite innocent. It's just kids being
yeah,
kids. But now, obviously, in the advent of all the horrible things going on, they have to they try to avoid it as much as possible. So
yeah. I guess I should also specify. I don't remember if it was just like
yeah,
waist up or
could have
not.
been,
Like,
yeah, could have
I
been
don't.
waist up. For those listening and wondering, like, Kayla was
yeah,
gesturing
because
like
like
I said you were
yeah,
gesturing, and then I did the exact same thing without describing it. She was pointing from the
um,
waist up.
either way, I remember being shocked because that wasn't something I typically saw, and so I think that
Mm,
was like kind of when I realized that like because I grew up in a very small, conservative, like 2 stoplight town in the South.
sure.
And so like I think that was when kind of like one of the moments that I realized that, oh, things are different other places, like a lot different.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yeah, it is interesting, like, one of the biggest differences, and we'll try not to get too political here. I don't think we will get political. Okay, we'll be okay. But watching movies from America, like they all have like any action film in America has like loads of guns. And
Mhm.
I actually remember I'm old enough to remember a time in Australia where we had guns because that ruling came through, I think, in the very early 90s. So we've been gun free for over 30 years now. Well, not gun free, but like we have very strict gun control. Like you can buy and own a weapon, provided you fill out all the paperwork and that stuff and that sort of thing. But it's a lot harder to get one now than it ever was before. And growing up watching media and like because guns make action films more exciting, any Australian film by
Mhm.
comparison was kind of lame because we're like, well, they're not like we know this is fictional because no one in Australia has guns. But then
Yeah.
Americans are like, I could believe that Arnold Schwarzenegger has access to a bazooka. Of course he does. An American can get anything. So it is very interesting
Oh
watching the way,
gosh.
the way things change. Um,
Yeah.
but
Here
yeah,
in America, it's very, very common. Like
yeah.
seeing a gun is like on TV, you're like, oh, yep, okay, that's
we
normal.
we went to America. My wife and I. We actually got engaged in America. I proposed to her at Universal Studios, outside of Hogwarts because she's a big Potter fan. Um,
Us too.
oh, really?
Only green dots.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, we were in
Ah.
we were at Universal in California, so like in LA or whatever,
Oh.
and yeah, we were like right in front of the Hogwarts castle, and I proposed to her there. But while we were in America, we stopped in Vegas first, because my wife wanted to check out Vegas. Like, all right, we'll go. And the thing that freaked us out the most, and it wasn't even like it wasn't that we suddenly became scared. It was just more very much a cultural awakening. We were going into a casino, and there was a sign that said, "You're not allowed to carry concealed firearms." And we're like, "Oh yeah, they're allowed to have those here. I forgot about that." In Australia, like you would never see that sign in Australia because no one has them. And like that was a
Yeah.
huge culture shock. Like, wow, that's so different. And we're like, oh man, it's just like in the movies. Like, that's just changed quite a bit. So
I always find those signs so funny, like when you don't have security or a metal detector, because it's just like, yeah, because
it's the
that's
honor
gonna
system. Yeah.
like I mean, even though like it's very normal for me to see them in movies, like I'm uncomfortable around them. Just I
Mm.
don't know why. I just have never really been that. Not like I'm gonna see someone and be like running away from them or anything, unless at least unless. But anyway, we're not gonna get into that. But like
Yeah.
people like go around and especially in Texas, they had them like people would have them strapped to them, and so it's just like it's always I know I'm in America, but even just seeing them, like, strapped on someone's, like, hip or something, it's a little weird for me when I see that.
Yeah, like our police carry them obviously,
Mm.
and I always feel uncomfortable seeing it because I'm like because it is so because I like I don't know what it's like in America, but in Australia we don't see. I guess it depends where you live and stuff like that, but I don't see police a lot. Like I might say police cars, but I don't see them walking around a lot. So when you do and you see them with a gun, you're like, oh yeah, like, and I'd always feel uncomfortable because it's just not really part of our culture. You just see, like, I'm not saying it's part of American culture, but like Americans are just a lot more comfortable around guns because
Mhm.
it's part of your constitution and stuff like that. It's one of your amendments and like that. So we're just not used to seeing it. So I always still feel uncomfortable around them. But or like, well, at least it's a cop holding it, so hopefully we're okay. Not some, I think if it was just a random person on the street, I'd feel way less comfortable for sure.
Yeah, it'd be a big shock if you're not used to it.
Once again, we have gotten very thoroughly distracted, and that's my fault. So we got there. Um, well, we talked about Donnie Darko. That's what we were talking about.
Mhm.
No, we are talking about Saw. That's where I
Saw,
was.
yes.
Saw was the film that made you want to start writing film, which is very cool. So, did you go ahead and write a Saw style inspired script, or was it?
I did not. I actually started a screenplay that I never finished, and as a kid, I thought it was so cool. As an
Mm,
adult, I don't know where it was going or how I thought that was going to work, but
yeah,
I still remember what it was about, and I'm just like, where would you have went with that?
Yeah, that's the joy of youth, man. Like, cause I used to write tons. I was a big writer. I couldn't tell you the last time I went to my keyboard to type up anything creative. Like it's been maybe years. But as a teenager, I was writing constantly. Like I would just write books and screenplays and all
Mm.
sorts of stuff. And thinking it was so brilliant. I'm like, I'm gonna be the youngest filmmaker ever. Like, this is
Yeah.
amazing. And then realizing I had no money or time or resources to do that sort of thing.
Mhm.
I would still like to as well. Like you talked about you writing a script. I would still like to. I think once I think I just need to get through the next couple of years, and then I'll be able to, um, you know, find some time and some money to do what I think. I've got to just get through
Mm.
the next couple of years. But I would like to do that before I'm
Yeah.
50, which gives me a little bit of time. I got like
Yeah,
13.
you've got some time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We've gone in weird directions. We should talk about movies. You've got a list of five, a very impossible task, but we're going to do our best. Before we get into your top five, were there any honorable mentions? Was there anything that came close to being on your list?
As I said, Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko.
I almost put A Quiet Place and A
Oh,
Quiet Place Day One, but I was like, "Ah, I only
interesting.
saw it once. Do I want to put it on there if I've only seen it once?" Um, but and then there were some other ones that like I wasn't sure because I was like, I don't know. I feel weird if I've only seen something once because I feel like I'm not going to be able to really talk about it.
I
So,
agree. I'm big on that as well. I don't think I love. I try to watch everything twice if I can, because you're not always going to get everything the first time, and I don't think it's fair to form an opinion on a sole viewing. That being said, I constantly post reviews after sole viewings, but I'm with you on that as well. Like I felt when I did my top five on the show, I dropped a movie from 2019. I'm like, I've seen it three times, but is this too new? Like, should I let it age a bit more? And I was like, yeah, I like it, so I'm going to put it on there.
which one was it?
Midsommar.
That's, yeah, that one was really good. I've only
Mm.
seen that like
It's
twice,
very
and
long.
I almost put that. I almost put Hereditary, but I was just like, I haven't watched those in a while, and I've only watched them both like twice. Like, I don't feel like I should do that.
Based on your honorable mentions alone and the things you've talked about so far, I'm very excited because it's very rare on this show that I get to talk about horror and darker movies. People tend to come with very light films. So I don't know. Like you might be like, and by the way, I discarded those and now five really fun movies.
Mm.
But the fact that
Well,
you've got
there's
some
one
dark.
that might make people mad. I know one of mine. A lot of people hate.
Oh, there's no judgment here. If every movie is someone's favorite movie, then there are no bad movies. That's always been my philosophy. So um, I'm very excited. And again, like there might not be, you might not have ranked them, but what is the fifth movie we're going to talk about? What's number five?
Number five. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm going to put it on here just because I'm just gonna go ahead and say Saul, just because
Yes.
I don't know that's really considered one of my favorite movies anymore. Like I don't get the same thing aside from the very last scene from
Yes.
watching it as I did the million times when I was younger.
Yeah.
But it's very special just because it did propel me into the world of wanting to be a writer. And I was like in love with Lee Wanell. I was convinced I was going to marry him. You have no idea.
That's very cool because I don't think Lee Winnell gets enough credit. I think Lee Winnell is very talented. He's often
Mhm.
overshadowed by James Wan, and they're friends. Like they're not competing with each
Mhm.
other. But James Wan being the director, and then he went on and really did a lot of big budget stuff. Like he started the Conjuring universe. He did a Fast and the
Mhm.
Furious movie. He did Aquaman. Like he's done tons of stuff. And whereas Lee Winnell kind of always stayed small. Like, and I don't think it was because the world didn't want him. I think he just preferred to work in Australia. Like, because he went from that, he went and did Dying Breed. I don't know if you've seen Dying Breed, which was
Yes. That was
yes,
started my love of the Tasmanian tiger.
yes.
Like, I was
You're
just like, "What?" I was like, "What is that? That's the coolest thing I've ever seen."
yeah, that might be you might be the only person I've ever spoken to who's seen Dying Breed that I know of. Like no one's I've ever spoken to has seen it. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. You say. Uh,
I've actually owned that one. I don't own a lot of movies anymore, but I own that one.
that might be a collectible because I don't think you can get Dying Breed anymore. It's
Really?
real. I don't even own it. Like I rented
Interesting.
it on DVD when it came out. I was like, I'll buy this later, and then it disappeared, and you cannot get it anywhere. Um, Yeah, he did that. He did The Invisible Man, which was really good. He
Mhm.
just did Wolfman, which I know a lot of people didn't like. I liked Wolfman.
I wanted to see it. I haven't had a chance. My mom said she's like, "I know it got bad reviews, but I recommend it." She's like, "I really liked it."
It's very, I think people were expecting, because they're redoing all of the monsters now. Like we had the Mummy a few years ago. We had, well, more than a few years ago. It's almost 10 years ago now. We had Invisible Man, and they've been kind of done Dracula a few times. Nosferatu just came out.
Mhm.
Those are all very big looking films. Like even Nosferatu, which is actually quite small in comparison, it feels like there's a level of scale. Wolfman is not that. I think that was the biggest thing people struggle with. It's very intimate. It's very small, and it only focuses on a couple of characters. I think that was something that people struggled with, because
Okay.
they were expecting like this huge, like I think they were expecting Underworld or something. Just like werewolves going rampant, and it's not that at all. But I liked it.
I would
Um,
think that having a more intimate, like, focusing on fewer people would make you I don't know, like, you would form an attachment to the characters more is what
I don't really understand why people didn't like it. I had a good time with it.
Mhm.
Like it's not my favorite. Like it won't crack my top 10 of the year, but I watch a lot of movies. And that just because it's not in the top 10 doesn't mean I didn't like it. I had a good time with it. Um, I agree with you on Saw as well, though, because Saw was very special to me, and I do really like it. But with aside from the ending, I do find it. I don't need to go back to it as much. I guess is kind of what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like especially when you like that franchise. I don't know how you feel about the rest of the franchise, but because every episode, every movie kind of ups the level, like it ups the game. So the first one
Yeah.
does feel very tame by comparison. Um,
Um, I think the first and then the most recent one are probably my top 2.
yeah,
Um, some of them are you just watch when you want a stupid movie because not all of them are good, like, let's be real. Um,
no, but they do an
but
incredible job of weaving a narrative that makes no sense.
yeah, sometimes you just need something that's kinda dumb, and you're just like, "Yeah, let me turn this on." I think I don't know if it's because I've watched it so many times
Mm,
of why, like, it's only there just because of the what it's done for me, and then the ending, of course. Like, I remember when he like, the ending, I was just like, "Oh my god," my little 11, 12-year-old brain was like, "Whoa."
incredible, great
I was
ending.
like,
One of the
"This
all-time
changed my
greatest.
life,
Yeah,
changed my life." Like
yeah,
and I was like I remember just thinking, not like specifically what they did, but like the feeling that it gave me. I remember just thinking, "I want to do that. I want to
yes,
make people feel like that."
yes.
So, like, I don't know if I just watched it way too many times, but, like, it's always going to be there just because of what it did for me.
That ending
So
and like that music, like which has become so
Mhm.
iconic now. But the first time I heard it, like goosebumps. You're just like, oh my
Yeah.
god, like what is happening?
I know.
Like,
I do enjoy showing it to people who've never watched it, though.
yes, that
Like
was kind of my adult version of School of Rock. Like I would pop that
Mhm.
in, and like when I was a bit old, I'm like, all right, you got to watch this movie. Like this one's insane. Like, obviously now everyone knows it, but at the time it was revolutionary.
I thought it was funny that it was set in America and neither of the 2 men in the bathroom were Americans. Well, I don't know about I don't know their citizenship status, but, like, where they were originally from.
Oh, I know that. So Lee Winnell plays Adam. Um, is the Doctor not American? Is he not an American actor?
Isn't he British? Isn't
Oh,
Carrie Elwes am I
I was going to pronounce it
wrong?
Elways, and I couldn't remember that's how it's pronounced. So that's why I was like, the
I
other guy.
I
Um,
can't remember either. I could be completely wrong, and then people are going to,
you're right. He is
yeah,
British.
yep.
Because does he use? Because he's in Princess Bride, which is also a wonderful movie. I'm
Mhm.
trying to think. Is he British in Princess Bride? Or is he American?
I don't remember, which is weird because I just watched it, like,
And I watch it at least
4th of
once a
July.
year. I watch it at least once a year. I love Princess Bride. I
I've
came to it
only
very.
seen it, like, once and 1.5 times. I say a half because when I watched it 4th of July, my dog was scared, and I laid on the floor with her, and I fell asleep while it was on because I was on the floor when she was freaking out, just like
Mm,
but I really liked it the first time I watched it, though,
yeah, I
and
came
the
to it
second
very.
time of what I saw.
Yeah, I came to it very late. I didn't watch it until I was almost 30, and I was like, "Why have I been ignoring this film for so long? This is brilliant." Um, Maybe he is British in that movie. All right, well, he's great. But that is very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the reason why it's so Americanized is because that's how they sold it. They were like, "Look, if we wanted to go mainstream, Australia wouldn't make this film. We're gonna have to make it an American feeling film, so American audiences will latch onto it." And it was the smartest thing they did because everyone jumped on board. And
Yeah. And I know I've seen some people make fun of Lee Whannell's acting in there. I'm like, it wasn't going to win any Academy Awards, like not
People are
for that
so
particular role,
snobby
but
about
like,
acting. Like,
but I do feel like for his first film, like he did a pretty good job for his first film, I
I don't
thought.
think it's bad. Like, it's always interesting. People like to critique acting, but like they don't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
it's.
I don't know. I don't feel like you necessarily have to do it to critique it, I guess, but I don't know. I guess
I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
a
Maybe
lot
this
easier to
is
throw rocks if you're not, the one who can receive the rocks. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that is true.
um,
Maybe I also was just so in love, just so
yeah.
in love
I think
that I
he's good
didn't
in it.
notice.
I think he's good. Like, he's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Like, he's written this movie, he's producing this movie, he's starring in it, and he's trying to do an American accent as well. Um,
Like hearing his slips.
I've never had a problem with him in that film. Like, he's, even though he's not particularly a good guy, he kind of is the heart of that movie. He's the
Mm.
the best of the people in it, except for the kid, who obviously is very innocent.
Yeah. And
Um,
like the fact that he didn't like try to go for some manly scream at the end, he just totally went for yeah, I'm going to like this is my fate. I don't want this. Like he didn't care about sounding masculine and I loved that. I
mm.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I like it. He's got some really good lines in there as well. Yeah, I like him in it.
Mhm.
It's a good, it's a good flick. I don't go if I do watch a Saw movie. I'm generally going to watch all of them. I'm kind of one of those ones where if I'm going to go back and watch Saw, I'm like, well, I'm going to watch all of them because they're all very short. They're only about 90 minutes a piece, and I want to
Mm.
like be drenched in gore for a couple of days. So I will always go back to it. But the franchise is getting long. There's 10 of them now. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah. So
I really liked the last one,
I
aside
just re
from Amanda's hair. That was tragic, but we
Amanda's
won't.
hair has always kind of been a bit tragic in that franchise, but she's a tragic character. Like, we can't judge her hair too harshly because
Shawnee Smith is gorgeous, though. I'm sorry they gave you a bad wig.
she's amazing. Yeah, like I just rewatched 10. So I just lied because I said if I'm going to watch stuff, I watch the whole franchise. I did just watch 10 earlier this year, and I didn't watch the other ones. But I had only seen 10 once. So I want to like go back and check it again, and it's insane how good that movie is. Like, it's tough to
Mm,
watch. Oh, like that leg cutting scene is rough. That
that was rough. Yeah. I remember my husband, he was like, I'll wait for it when it's out. He's like, because those movies got, he's like, the first one, it was good. Second, he's like, but he's not really into like gore for the sake of gore, which I
yeah.
mean, I like for there to be a plot too, which
Yeah.
is why like I think I like the first one better than a lot of the other ones.
Mm.
But when I went home, I was like, you should have seen it. It was actually really good.
Yeah, they did a really good job making John such a sympathetic character. Like, because he's always been kind of sympathetic, but like he's also standing, looking through a peephole, watching people get torn apart,
Yeah.
putting people in. Because I know that like he's always been about rules, and he's like, they have to be given a chance to survive. But like, if you watch that first Saw film, throwing that key in the bath was like a rookie error. Was that the first trap he ever did? Like, if you've got a bathtub and there's an open plug hole, that key's definitely going down. Like, Adam was never going to get out of those
Yeah.
chains. Like,
Like,
spoilers for a 20-year-old
yeah.
movie.
I feel like he gave a lot of people impossible tasks,
Yeah.
which is kind of like a little bit of a inconsistency with what he's supposed to be.
Mm.
But Tobin Bell, he's phenomenal. I love he's so good.
He is, and I'm so glad that he got, because he's been around forever. Like, it's so funny. He's in an episode of Seinfeld. I don't know if you watch Seinfeld, but
Not in a
he
long time.
he plays a record store clerk, and he's very much kind of like a hippie guy, like just trying to make money off like used records. And I saw that after I'd seen Saw. I'm like, wow, this is so menacing. Like, is this his storyline? Like, before he was the jigsaw killer, he was just this hippie guy. Something went so bad that he became this murderous dude.
Oh
But so
gosh.
he's been in stuff for ages, but like it wasn't until this franchise where he really got a platform, and now people know who he is. And I love seeing that. Like, when you see these wonderful actors who've been around forever, and they finally are given, a vehicle to kind of showcase what they can do. Like,
Like Pedro Pascal has been, well, I know
yeah,
that's very controversial now. I've heard a lot of people don't like him anymore. I'm like, what? I love him.
yeah.
But
We could go into a whole thing
um
about that. Like, Too many roles. Why is he getting too many roles? Like, I don't know. Like, he's good. It's a business.
Like,
Like, he's a
I
draw.
don't know.
Yeah.
I really like him, but he was around for so many years and then he just kind of blew up. And I'm just like, you know what? Good for him.
But it still took him a while because he was in the first thing I remember him from, the earliest thing was Buffy. He was in an episode of Buffy, I
Hmm.
think. And then he did Game of Thrones.
Game
And
of Thrones.
you would think, oh, that launched his career. But after Game of Thrones, he was still not
Yeah.
doing a lot. Like, what was the big thing? It would have been was it
Was it
Last of Us?
Narcos? Was it? I
Narcos is
didn't ever
around the same
watch it,
time. I think
but
Narcos is the same time as Game of Thrones, or around the same time. So what does he do? Last of Us was big.
mhm. He's in Fantastic Four now, which I need to
Yeah,
see. I haven't seen it yet.
I just saw it. I saw it opening night, so a couple of weeks ago, and my daughter wants to go and see it. And I was originally I was like, oh no, it's PG, but it's too much for 4 years old, almost five. And then I
Mhm.
thought about, like, you know what? If she gets scared or doesn't like it, we can leave the theater. I've seen it, but like she wants to go see it. Like I don't want to discourage her. Like it's totally family friendly. So I think I'm taking
Mhm.
her this weekend.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so which means I get to see Fantastic Four, which also means it'll be the first film I've seen twice in cinemas in years. I haven't gone to the movies for one thing twice in a long time. Um,
Yeah. My
but Pedro,
husband,
oh sorry, go on.
he's not sure if he wants to see it in theaters or not. And this is gonna make me sound like such like a thirsty person because I was talking about a crush from like 20 years ago, and now I'm
Mm.
gonna be like, what my biggest celebrity crush right now is in Fantastic Four, and I'm just like, are we gonna go see it, Andrew? Are we gonna go see it? And he's like,
Did you guys see Superman?
no, I've never really seen a Superman movie outside of Superman versus was it Batman?
Oh,
And
Batman vs Superman. Yeah.
or yeah, and I was so tired that that was the only time I'd ever fallen asleep in the theaters.
So it's not
Um,
that. So there's a lot of debate about it right now because people who loved that version of Superman feel a bit ripped off that he didn't get like an end to his story and stuff like that. This is a fresh take on it. Well, fresh in as much as it's a brand new start, but it's very joy filled. It's silly, it's goofy, it goes into dumb places, but also it's very um authentic and heartfelt, and that's very much what Fantastic Four is as well. Like Fantastic
okay.
Four is very much like it's just filled with joy and silliness, and it's this cosmic adventure, but it's also very much a family story. So um if he's into that sort of thing and he's liked, kind of Marvel when they do their very like kind of heart of gold type stuff, then he'll be way into it. Like it's
Okay.
very much a vehicle of joy and like just about like embracing the wackiness of 60s sci-fi and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think too with Fantastic Four, I don't even know if I saw the one with like Chris Evans and everything, but I hear it's bad. Um,
I just rewatched all of them, including the unreleased 1994 one that was only made to retain the rights. And they've each got their own merits. Like the Chris Evans ones, I always liked because I was the right age for them. I was
mhm.
like 13, 14 when they came out, so that was everything I needed. Now looking back, I can still enjoy them as a fan. I can see why people don't like them. But I think they're quite ambitious as well. But
Yeah.
they also came out during like kind of that golden age of superhero films where you had Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, which are wonderful movies, and X-Men, which was really good. And it was around the same time as Batman Begins. Like
You're not gonna mention Spider-Man 3
I love Spider-Man 3.
with
I
his
Spider-Man 3
gothic or
S- Spider-Man 3
emo Spidey.
Spider-Man 3 was my first date movie with my wife.
Oh.
But also I unapologetically love that film. People misunderstood it. People now go back and they go, actually, it was quite good. But I was there in the theaters because the whole thing about that film, the people didn't like it because of the dancing. People didn't like it because they felt it was cringy. But what people missed, the point they missed is that Peter Parker is cringy. Like he's not
Mhm.
cool. He's a nerd. So when he gets the power of Venom and Venom amplifies what's there and corrupts it, he's not going to suddenly become a badass because Peter Parker was never badass. So he's dancing in the
He's a
streets. He's
little nerd.
like he's doing what he thinks is cool, and we're all meant to be in on the joke. Like, oh, that ain't cool. But people miss the point of that. So I like Spider-Man 3, even if it's not
I
the
haven't
best.
seen it in so long.
Yeah, I'll defend that film forever.
I just like the memes.
Yeah, they're great. The memes are awesome. Um,
I
go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say I used to watch those first three Spider-Mans like all the time, and I don't even remember like Spider-Man 3 except for Topher Grace was in there, and then the little dancing. We'll call him little emo Spidey.
Yeah.
This is the only thing I remember about the third one.
Yeah, yeah, and Bryce Dallas Howard, she plays Gwen Stacy, so it's a pretty stacked cast.
Yeah,
Um,
forgot.
Alrighty, that is one movie. So let's jump to number
Okay,
4.
number 4. I'm going to say, what do I want to put at number 4? Um, this one is pure like nostalgia, and I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I couldn't decide. It's a franchise, so and it's for children, so maybe you'll know what it is already. There are 8 movies,
Okay, I know exactly what it is. I had an inkling.
and
Now I definitely know what
yeah,
it is. Yep.
and I couldn't decide which one, so I just went with the one that started it all, which is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That also propelled me into being a reader of bigger books when I was a kid, so
Yeah, me too. Um, we call it the Philosopher's Stone over here, but
yeah. I heard that they changed it for America. I don't know if this is true, if I read some, like, false information, but I heard that they changed it from philosophers to sorcerers because they're like, "Well, what kid's gonna wanna read something that says the Philosopher's Stone?"
I'd heard a very similar story. Yours sounds more accurate. The version I heard was Americans don't know what a philosopher is. That's what I heard.
I mean, to be fair, at that age, I didn't know what a philosopher
Neither
was.
did I. I didn't know either. So I'd heard that story and I found that funny. But I was also like, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm 10 years old. What's a philosopher? Um, but I yeah, I love this flick. This yeah, the first two in particular, I think don't get enough praise. But
I really like the second one. I don't know why a lot of people don't like it as much. I like the older I get, the more I'm like, "Man, I love Chamber of Secrets." But
Chamber of
anyway,
Secrets.
Sorcerer's Stone, though.
Yes, sorry, go on. Sorcerer's Stone.
Uh Yeah, my sister had read the first book, and I think I was like 8 when it came out, like
Mm,
the first movie, and I remember going to see it, and just I felt like my world just got so much bigger.
mm.
Like, it's one of those feelings that it's just I know everyone says it, but it was just so magical, like,
Yeah.
it's just you felt like, "I want to go there, like, this is what my life is supposed to be, this is what life is, this is fantastic," like, it just opens so many, like, doors in your brain for, like, creativity and imagination, and I thought it was just the most wonderful thing, and then as soon as we got home after we saw the movie, I asked my sister to start reading the first book to me, and then I
Nice.
ended up finishing it, and by the time the second movie came out, I'd already read all of them, I'd been out by that point.
Nice. That my
So
my story was very similar. I still have my copy of all the books. I think my first one's the first edition. As is my wife's because we were young enough to get them. Like they hit the shelves and stuff like that. Mine's in terrible condition though because I was a ratty kid. Um, but I remember it sat on my shelf for ages, and I had no interest in reading it. I didn't like the cover. I thought it looked dumb. I was reading the Animorphs series at the time. I don't know if you're familiar with that book series, but
mhm.
it's about a group of teenagers who get alien powers to turn into animals. It's very cool. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
haven't
it's
heard of
a
that.
oh my god, it's like from the same ilk as like Goosebumps. Is like kind of the same times. Those very like early like kind of
Okay.
kids novels. Definitely look into Animorphs. Oh my god, it's amazing. Um, and my dad said to me, he goes, "You've had that book on your shelf for months. I'm not buying another Animorphs book until you read Harry Potter." So I was like, "Fine." And the reason I didn't like it is I tried to read it, and the writing style was much more advanced than I was used to. It was very descriptive, and at the time, it felt like too much work. And then I started reading the book, and I was like, "Oh my god, I was an idiot! Like this is amazing." And I think I knocked out half of the first book in a single sitting, just like um, and so I remember waiting for the movie. My wife and I talk about this quite a bit, but we were there. I don't know what it was like in America, but in Australia, we didn't quite have broadband internet yet when that movie was coming out. So we were on dial up internet, like waiting for a quick time video of the trailer to drop and like just watching the train go over the bridge like 40 times because it kept buffering, like waiting for this video to like people listening now who are like, what are you talking about? The internet wasn't always good. Guys,
Yeah.
the internet wasn't always good. We would just sit there and I remember sitting there for like I would say hours, plural, waiting for this
Oh.
video to load and finally getting to watch it. Because now, like a trailer drops it's on Instagram and you can watch it in like 30 seconds. But back then, it was just like took so long. And yeah, I devoured all the books at that point as well. I think 2 and 3 had come out by the time by the time I'd read the first one, and then
Mm.
4 came out in 2000, I want to say, which is just before the movie came out. Um,
Okay.
I love it. It's such a testament to the way films used to be made. Like, obviously, we're now in a digital era, but that is a movie shot on film. They use practical sets. Like Hogwarts is like, even though the castle is CGI, the exterior, it's also models, and like everything inside is real. Like the doors are real. Like those big, like, I don't know what they're called, like the giant columns that have flames coming out of them. Like those are real, carved from
Mhm.
like not actual stone, but carved to look like stone. It's all physical. It's like it's our version of Labyrinth or our version of Goonies, like all those 80s classics that people think back to now. Like that's what it is for us. Like
Mhm.
we did, and you have to do this because you're talking about how you want to get to London. You have to go and do the studio tour. Um,
Oh, I know.
we
I
did
need
this.
to.
We did the studio tour, and we took our daughter, and just incredible. Like I was 13 years old again, just walking on those sets and stuff like
Oh.
that. And we went into, and my daughter, like, she doesn't have the same history with it as we do, but she loves Harry Potter. Like, she's watched the first four movies, not all of three and four. We've had to skip over the scary bits, but she's familiar with them. And when we went into the hall where the Hogwarts Express was, she squealed like a
Oh.
10-year-old girl at a Taylor Swift concert. I'd never heard that noise come out of her before. And I was like, oh my god, like the kid just unlocked, like that. She just went full nerd. She just unlocked her nerd power for the first
That's
time.
so cute.
So cute. And
I'm
like,
glad she likes it. My niece, my 10-year-old niece, now granted, I don't know if she's saying this just because she's at that age where she either dislikes or pretends to dislike something you do, and then she actually comes back later and likes it. It hasn't happened with Harry Potter.
mm,
But I remember her telling me, she's like, Harry Potter's boring.
how
I
old
was
is she?
like,
Did you say?
she's 10. And I was like,
Mm,
she told me that like 2 years ago, I think, is when
mm,
she told me that. But she hasn't had any interest in wanting to watch it since. So I'm like,
yeah, but
dang.
you know what? Next year that Max series comes out, so maybe she'll be the right age and for it then. Um,
Yeah, maybe um the TV show will be a bit. I know people don't want there to be a TV show, but I'm like, you know what? We had ours. Like, if
I'm on
my
board.
niece, like,
I'm on
and
board, man.
they'll have more in it than the
That's
movies
the
did.
thing. See, the argument that we were talking before about how number two gets a lot of hate. I've heard people like talk about how great Goblet of Fire is. That to me is my least favorite of the movies. It cuts out
Really?
so much stuff from the book. Like we've got no Ludo Bagman. We've got no Winky. Winky is one of the best characters in the franchise, and she's cut.
Gosh.
She's got such a tragic story. The maze is meant to be filled with mythical creatures. They're like, do you know what's better than that? Wind. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why is that better than a sphinx? Like, so I hope that the Rita Skeeter stuff is barely touched on. Like, there's so much more
Mhm.
Rita Skeeter stuff in the book. I really hope that, and I think I read they just announced the episode lengths, the first or the season lengths. The first two series are meant to be 6 episodes long, and then they're going to go to 8 and then to 10. I think that's what they're saying.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
um, which is good. Like, I want there to be a more thorough version. The stuff that one of my favorite lines in the books, and it's just a throwaway line by Fred or George. I can't remember who says it now. But in Goblet of Fire, when they open up the egg for the first time and it squeals and everyone covers their ears, one of the twins goes, "It sounds like Percy singing. Perhaps the next task is you have to attack him in the shower." Great joke. Really funny joke. It was never going to make the film, but I hope it's in the TV show. I know that she's a polarizing figure right now, and I'm certainly not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come out and, you know,
It's
tell.
a tough thing when something so near and dear to your heart from childhood, and then now I'm not going to ask your opinions unless you want to talk about it, and then not really agreeing with who the person turned out to be. And it's just one of those things where it's like, uh,
I
but
think
am I
what
going to throw away this thing that gave me so much joy? Like, I don't think I'll ever be running to buy any other books by her, but it's just, they just gave me so much joy that I just like,
I think the cancel culture is, it's one of those things where I'm not against it. I understand that like some people are horrible monsters and they need to be put away forever. Bill
mhm.
Cosby, for example, no
Yeah.
opportunity for redemption there. And it seems like this is a hill that she's willing to die on. And that's fine. But we at some point we also need to separate art from artist. As we get further away from those innocent times of the 1950s and 60s, more horrible things are going to come out. But like
I just feel like it's going to be a very there are certain things that I will not like, the Bill Cosby thing. I'm like, well, gosh dang it. I used to love the Cosby show, but oh.
That's
But
tough
like
because he's front and
yeah,
center in that, but she's not on this. And
yeah.
like that,
Like
those books are so, again, like for lack of a better term, they're so magical. Like without that book, I probably don't read Lord of the Rings. I probably
yeah,
don't read
like
Stephen King. Like that got me into reading in a big bad way. Like her opinions and her political views and stuff aside, like I can appreciate the books for what they are and still recognize that maybe she's not, you know, her views
not
are
what
not,
we
not
wanted
what
her to be.
her views, and I
um
don't agree with her
yeah.
views. But in a world of
Um
free speech, we have to let her express her views. But it
yeah.
doesn't mean the books aren't what they were to us. Like when we were 5 years old, we weren't like, I wonder if she's in favor of trans
Yeah.
people. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we weren't thinking about that. We're thinking about like, oh my god, I want to go to Hogwarts. So like
Yeah,
if you,
and
yeah, sorry, go on.
oh, sorry. Like I was going to say now there's it's really hard because everyone's going to have a different thing on what they are just kind of like. Let's just face it, there are a lot of terrible people in the world, and a
100%,
lot of
and most of
artists.
them are artists.
Yeah,
Like
a
most.
lot of the artists that are out there, either publicly or privately, aren't who you would like for them to be. And so it's just really hard. But I'm like, if I do that every single time, like it's just so hard for me because I'm just like, I don't agree with her at all. But at the same time, I'm like, these books just meant so much to me. Like, I remember I'm one of those people that always like took school very seriously.
Mm.
But like when I was struggling, I would like sit there and I would like actually pretend to be like get in the headspace and be like, you are Hermione Granger. You're do your homework. You want to do your homework. This is fun. like, um, but yeah, but Sorcerer's Stone though. Sorry, I know we
Yes,
got into that. Like, I always feel like
I
so
think it's
bad
hard. It's
talking.
hard to bring it up without addressing it, and I think, but like
Yeah,
that's what I've always tried to do. Like, you have to separate art from artists at some point, otherwise you're never going to win. Like,
and you're never going to enjoy anything at times too. Like, I can say I don't, I don't know, and I don't know. It's just it's a difficult. Oh, some people might say it's not a difficult thing, I guess, but
yeah, it can be tricky, but like if you dive into it enough, like obviously the Neil Gaiman stuff has come out recently, and that's hugely upsetting. But like if you go like F. Scott Fitzgerald, like wrote one of the greatest novels of all time. I love The Great Gatsby. Probably not a super cool dude. There's stuff in this past that's probably not too great. Hemingway famously always drinking. Like back then you would have called him like functional. Now we would probably call him an alcoholic. Like everyone has darkness and makes terrible decisions, and if we base our enjoyment of what they create on that, then we're never going to enjoy anything.
yeah.
One of my, I love Edgar Wright. I think he's a fantastic filmmaker. He made a really wonderful movie about 10 years ago called Baby Driver. I love it. The main antagonist in that film, Kevin Spacey. So I have to make a decision
Oh
right
yeah.
there and then. Do I watch that movie anymore? And this is the problem. This is where I think cancel culture gets tricky. Because if Kevin Spacey makes a movie and then the allegations come out and everyone stops watching it, you're coming out against Kevin Spacey, which I agree with. But
But then everyone else.
you're also indirectly coming out against Edgar Wright and Anton Elgort and everyone who made the film, and like the director and the producer and the editors and the sound engineers, and like, are we canceling every single person because they didn't know this guy was horrible? Like it gets
Yeah.
it's very complicated very quickly.
Because
Um,
it's not just one person, really. It's a
yeah,
lot. It's hundreds
yeah, it
of
gets very
people.
complicated,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people are very vocal about it. They're very loud about it, so they don't have to listen to arguments. So like, I'm just going to be loud about it, and I'm right.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely right for speaking out against the people doing the wrong things. But as with all things in life, it's very there's a lot of moving parts. This is
Mhm.
the most controversial episode of the podcast.
I'm so sorry. You can cut
no,
that if you
no,
want
it's all
to.
good. It's all
I didn't. It's one of those things where I'm just like, these are so near and dear to me. But then I also feel like it's just one of those things. But yeah, anyway, the Sorcerer's Stone was such a big moment for me as a kid. And it's one of those things that I used to rewatch every year. And I need to do a Harry Potter like movie marathon again. I already own all of them. So
Nice. I've got so many
But
copies of that movie. Yeah.
yeah, it's just it's so fun too to see like these people who are now adults, like, they're older than me,
Mm,
like, but go from being these little kids who, like at times they did very well, and at other times you can tell that they didn't have maybe a whole lot of experience with acting, like Emma Watson. Like, I think that was her first movie.
mm,
And I think they all did very well, but it was just so cute to see them, like, not only like their characters growing up, but also them growing as actors. And the first one is just so cute to like watch these little kids, like, I don't know, they're just like in this world that you just wanted to be in. And it's just, even as an adult, it's still very magical to go back and just watch and pretend like, okay, I'm not an adult anymore. I'm a child again.
mm. It's absolutely, and I guess it's ultimately the point that we were trying to make. Like, as a life is very messy when you're an adult, but like
Yeah.
those films are so filled with joy, and everyone there came to play. Like, this was a film that could have so easily not worked. Like, an
Hmm.
American studio came in to adapt a British novel, and they had to trust that the novel would translate to American audiences, but also the UK creatives had to trust that Americans would know what they're doing with a British property. Like, there's a lot of trust involved in that product, and everyone, like Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid, is maybe the most perfect casting of all time. I'm very excited about Nick Frost. I think
And
that's really good
yeah,
casting,
I
but
think Nick Frost will do well. And
Robbie
then
Coltrane, yeah.
they had a
Who's
lot
your
of really big names in there.
who's your preferred Dumbledore? I know we're talking mainly about Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's
Um,
Stone, but
I think they both interpreted the character differently and did very
mm.
well. But I am going to go with I'm so sorry, I forget his name, but the man who was in the first two.
Oh, I'm
Because
Richard Harris.
thank you. I knew it was Richard something, but I was like, I don't remember the last name. But I just feel like he was such a calm presence and is
Mm,
exactly like how you know, had I not seen the movie first, like if I would have like read the book first, that's how I would have pictured him.
mm.
I feel,
He's
and
very
I,
grandfatherly.
yeah, and Michael Gambon does a fantastic job too. And he obviously, I think, made different choices because you don't want to go in there and try to copy someone, especially when they leave so tragically of,
Yeah.
they're just not here, so you don't want to go in and just try to be like them. As And so but I don't, always cracks me up. Did you put your name in the fire?
Yeah,
Dumbledore said
it's
calmly.
yes. I'm interested to see what Lithgow does with it. I feel like John Lithgow is oddball enough to. That's one thing we didn't really get to see in the movies is Dumbledore's cheeky. Like, he's
Hmm.
very childlike, and like I like the calm of Richard Harris. I do believe that Michael Gambon could hold his own against Voldemort. I don't believe that Richard Harris could. I don't see him as a
Yeah,
warrior.
that's
But
the hard part, is that Michael Gambon does have the, like, you can see him going toe to toe with
mm,
somebody, whereas the other one was so calm. But of course, we'll never know,
mm,
tragically, but like they just both gave very different things. But if I had to pick, I'd say Richard Harris, just
yeah,
because,
nice,
yeah.
very
But
nice.
I'm excited for these kids, though. I'm. It's going to be exciting to see other children kind of go in and see how they're going to do it differently. And I know I'm always going to have my bias of the originals because it's what I grew up with, but I'm excited for the kids to see what they do with it.
There's room for both, and if we hate it, it's not for us anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
literally it's a win-win. We can't lose in this because
Mhm.
if we don't like it, it's like, well, this wasn't meant to be for us. We're in our
Yeah.
30s.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just excited for them to be able to get to experience like the magical world. Like
mm,
that's not something that a lot of people are going to get to experience outside of the OG cast. So I'm just like, these kids hopefully are going to have a really, really great time like the other ones did.
mm.
And I don't know, I'm excited for them.
Nice, very very cool. Let's jump to number three.
Number three. What do I want to put for number three? Oh, I think I'm going to put A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one.
Nice one. This is a flick we haven't really talked about too much on the podcast. My wife refuses to watch it because she doesn't like anything.
Oh,
Because she's like she doesn't really like horror.
Mm.
But if she must watch horror, her rules are no ghosts, no children, no mirrors, and I would extend to that no dreams, because she doesn't want to have bad dreams. I think she talked about the podcast. The thing that first scared her as a child was the episode of The Simpsons where groundskeeper Willie was Freddy Krueger. Like she saw that and that like
Oh.
terrified her. So yeah. Um, 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street. How old were you when you watched it?
Oh gosh, I how old was I in the second grade? I think I was like in the second grade.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
I
I
remember
was like 20
seeing,
when I watched it for the first time.
well, my mom, she initially said no, and she kept telling me no,
Mm,
because I think she owned it,
yep.
and I was so interested in it, and I just kept wanting to watch it, and eventually she's like, okay, and she explained to me years later that she eventually caved, thinking that I would turn it on for a few minutes, get so scared, and turn it off.
Mm.
Um, and I did get so scared to where I would go crawl into her bed every night. But little did she know I was going to enjoy torturing myself, and I watched it all the way through and would want to watch it many more times. So,
Mm. I just rewatched it earlier this year. I just picked it up on Blu-ray. Actually, it's somewhere. Actually, it's just up there, just beyond the beyond the frame of the screen. But I just picked it up on Blu-ray. I hadn't seen it in quite a few years, and it really holds up. Like that first one is incredible. It's weird that he gained such a following, knowing his backstory. Like I know his backstory is more inferred in the 80s, like in the remake, they just come out and say what he
yeah,
is. But
yeah.
it's weird that he gained such a following and people loved him. So you picked the first one. Do you
Mhm.
prefer the quieter, less quippy Freddy Krueger, or are you here for both? Or
I think I recently rewatched all of them like
mm.
a year or two ago. Some of them aren't very good. um, some of them are like, I don't need to do that again.
You can
But then
tell which
some of
ones
them,
they ran out of money. Like the one where
yeah,
they like, oh, we'll just make the dream repeat because dreams repeat. Like you're like, oh, we ran out of money. We'll
yeah.
just keep repeating it.
Like
Like,
I think my favorite ones were the first one, Dream Warriors, I believe is what it was called, the third one, and
love Dream
then
Warriors.
what's it called? The one where Nancy came back.
New Nightmare?
Yeah, the one where it's kind of like a more
Meta?
meta.
Yeah,
And I
that's good.
heard that that one didn't do very well, which is funny because Scream did very well for that exact reason of being. I just
Mm,
think maybe they weren't ready to handle it at that point in time, the whole
mm.
meta aspect of it. And then I remember hating the second one, but I rewatched the second one. I'm like, is that something I'm probably going to put on just to put on? No, but if I want to do like a binge of these movies minus a couple of them, I rewatch it. But yeah, first one, Dream Warriors and New Nightmare were my. Those are the ones I'd probably go back to more
Yeah,
than the other
Dream
ones.
Warriors is so good. So, like that was instantly my favorite when I watched them all. Um, and I hadn't watched them in quite a while. So yeah, I actually did them all at the start of this year as well. And it's just so good. Like the practical effects are awesome. Like the concept of taking control of your dreams. But you've chosen 84 as the first
Mhm.
one, so we'll stick to that one. Um, incredibly creepy.
Yeah.
And like very accurate portrayal of teenagers and how they're kind of treated in society. Like I remember like just no one believes you, like they don't want to listen to you, like you're the ones at fault and stuff like that. Like that felt very, even though I was a teenager in the 2000s as were you, like it feels very true. Like even
Mhm.
still. So yeah.
I just remember thinking it was the scariest thing too. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like typically, like, you have to be scared when you're awake, but you have to be
Mm,
scared to go to sleep. Like, that was the scariest thing. Um, and I just, I remember just like being so traumatized. 'Cause I'm like, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen. Like, this is, well, aside from I was really scared of Pennywise when I was a kid. Outside of that, that was the first movie to truly terrify me was that one. But like, I was like, this is like the scariest thing. Like, I can't even go to bed. Are you kidding me?
yeah.
And like, granted, I was probably too young to be watching that movie, but
Oh,
to see,
100%, Kayla. Absolutely. You were.
but I mean, I remember my mom would watch scary movies. Like I remember her watching Scream, and I asked her if she realized I did that because I would like go onto the steps when she was watching Scream and would like watch from the top of the steps. I was like, "Did you know I did that?" She's like, "No."
Scream is an interesting one because I watched it. I didn't watch that till I was in my 20s, and I'd seen obviously Scary Movie and stuff like that before. So I kind of felt I got to Scream too late, so I kind of dismissed it. But then I rewatched it a few years back, and I loved it. Like now, I really
Mm.
love Scream, and that first sequence is terrifying,
Well, you
so
think she's gonna be
scary.
like the main girl, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, what
But
happened?
also, like, I'm a parent now, so them coming home and the daughter calls her parents, and she's literally being killed and gutted
Yeah,
while
that's
it's
awful.
so insane. Um,
And
and we watch these movies for fun. Like,
yeah, and tell me why, like, I don't know. I know we were supposed to be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, but Matthew Lillard and mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me.
so funny. And
Uh,
he's meant to be in the new one. Like, apparently, like, there's I don't know whether it's gonna be like a dream sequence or like a flashback, but apparently he's showing up in Scream 7, so I'm cool with that.
no, he's wonderful.
It seemed the
Uh,
90s are officially in repeat. We've just had Jennifer Love Hewitt back. We just had Freddie Prinze Jr. back. It's a good
Sarah
time
Michelle Gellar, yeah.
spoilers, spoilers. I went to the premiere for that movie, and we don't cheer in theaters in Australia. It's not really our thing. When that moment happens, like everyone
Oh,
was like,
see,
"Woo!"
I haven't seen it yet. I've just saw pictures circulating
Yeah,
online.
the internet is a horrible place for
Yeah.
ruining movies.
So
Um,
I thought it was like just because I haven't even seen the trailer, so I just thought it was in the trailer and I just didn't know about it.
Yeah, no,
Whoops.
there was a big reveal. That's okay. This episode is going to be at least 6 weeks away, so at that point the movie won't be in theaters anymore. So it's all
Yeah.
good.
But
Uh,
yeah, like Freddy Krueger was just so sorry, we got off topic again. Freddy
that's
Krueger
okay.
was just so terrifying. And I remember just her falling asleep in the bathtub. And
Yes.
then you're a kid, and like, because you know, at the age I wasn't taking showers yet. I was taking baths. And I was just like, oh my gosh, the bathtub, falling asleep. What can I do?
And it's such an exploitative image. Like it's so like obviously growing up as a boy and now a man, like obviously the way we navigate the world is very different. Like you just and it's becoming more and more obvious now. We've become more and more aware.
Hmm.
That imagery of her knees apart and just the
Yeah.
bladed hand come up is like, even then I got the ick. I was like, oh, this makes me feel really uncomfortable. And I was quite young and like was still quite naive and stupid back then. I mean, some would argue I'm still quite stupid now, but definitely was very naive. And I was like, now I could never imagine telling my wife, "Hey, we should watch Nightmare on Elm Street." Like for that scene alone, I feel like it would turn her right off. It's so
Yeah.
um confronting. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Like,
such clever imagery. Like, it's so effective, but also like, oh, gross.
I didn't really like catch on to that when I was a kid too, though.
Yeah,
It was like one of those things where I was just like, "Oh no, scary hand coming out." Like
yeah,
you're uncomfortable, but then as you said, like you get older and you're like, "Oh,
yeah. Watching it this year, I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about this in a while. This is, oh, I don't like this. Yeah, like,
yeah,
and you're not meant to. Like,
yeah."
it's doing its job. Um, I was going to ask you. So you've mentioned Nightmare on Elm Street. Everyone I feel like who's in horror tends to have a mascot they lean towards. Me growing up, Jason was my guy. Is Freddy your kind of like personal
Yeah,
monster? Yeah. Not even there
yeah.
wasn't even any hesitation. Like yeah,
Well, I think, and I know people get really like gatekeepy about it. As I said, I don't love all of them. Like some
yeah,
of them, I'm like, I'm fine to never see that again in my life. Um, but I think the sweet spot for Freddy, even though I named this one, is when I think that's what makes Dream Warriors, even though I put this as my favorite, probably one of the best ones, is because he's
yes,
still terrifying, but he's leaning more into the comedy, but it hasn't gotten too slapstick yet.
yeah,
Like, and I think that is like the third one is when he's at his peak, just because
yeah.
there's that perfect balance. But the first one is definitely um just terrifying. And I think that's, I don't know. I think he always like why I kind of gravitate towards him is because out of like the big ones, like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, like, like that's the one that I think affected me the most as a kid.
Mm.
So,
Uh, very very cool. What was I gonna say? Oh my god, totally lost my train of thought there for a second. Um, that's okay. We'll move on. What was it? What was it gonna be? Oh my god. Oh, this happens sometimes. That's okay.
It's okay.
If I remember it, I'll come back to it.
Just blurt
Um,
it out when yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Let's jump into number two.
Number 2 is, the one that I feel a lot of people hate, and not even because it's a bad movie, just because it frustrates people so much, which I understand, and that is Speak No Evil,
The most recent one or the original one?
the original one.
I haven't seen the original one yet, and I really want to, but I very much liked the remake, and I feel like that's going to. I've told that like the original is very messed up. Like as messed up as
Yeah,
the remake is, the original is more so. So I'm
yeah.
actually quite keen for that.
So I won't do any spoilers, but I'll say the remake is very Americanized and a lot more satisfying, I guess is what I'll say. The original is a lot more frustrating and just
Mm.
really, really messed up. And I think it's probably one of my favorite movies that I've seen here in a few like past few years, just because I mean, I don't even, like, have kids, but, like, the fact that these like, I mean, you saw it in the even the remake, like, how passive they're being, with certain things, and, like, even someone without kids, I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, be more aggressive in this moment, like, I understand, like, I wasn't as frustrated until a certain point as, like, say, my husband was, because I understand the wanting to be polite, and I think that's kinda part of oh gosh, I can't remember where they're from in the original one, but I read that that was kind of part of their culture is just be
Is
polite,
it
I
Danish
guess.
or?
I think so. Well, here's where it gets a little complicated for me is there's kind of more of a language thing because in the American version there's the Americans and then the people where were they from? Was it England? Or
Yes.
yeah. So they have like it's the same, but I think where is it? Oh goodness. There's a let's see. I believe they were speaking different languages, but they all speak like the same. They all speak English just because. Oh, you go on the reviews and like most of the reviews are 1 stars on the when you type in for the audience rating, it's a 2.7.
Really?
Um and I'm just like so it is a Danish family that becomes friends with a Dutch family. Um
Okay.
and see, this is what I mean is like a lot of people dislike it, but I think that's part of why I like it is because of how frustrating it is. Like people who will be kind of polite and passive to their own detriment. And it's like one of those things where you always think that, okay, well, people have a bit of like a survival instinct, right? To where they would like, be a little bit more aggressive about certain things that like, and it's just, they're just so like I said, even in the remake, you see it like passive.
Mm.
Like, the wife's a bit more I don't wanna use the word aggressive, I would say, rightfully angry in the remake, I feel, but it was one of those things where it's interesting to look at in terms of, like trying to think without saying too much. I guess mentally, like, how different it's just different than what you're used to seeing in, like, a horror film or whatever is it horror? Horror drama, like, it just the psychology of what makes someone be so, like, people pleasing, like, even as a people pleaser myself at times, like, it's and, like, I'll use examples from the remake, like, just the psychology of the whole like scoping out who your possible victims could be of like in the remake he goes and he's like hey like is anyone using this chair and
Mm.
clearly they are because it's there and okay you just failed the first test my guy by being
Yeah.
like no and like giving it to him when clearly your family stuff was on there
Yeah.
um or like the whole I don't eat meat I'm a vegetarian and then trying to get her to eat the meat and her husband's like not saying anything and
Yeah.
she's like not and it's just kind of like the how far can you push people kind of thing before they stop being polite to you and it it's so frustrating and it's
Yeah.
even more frustrating in the original one which I recommend watching and maybe you'll be one of those people who gives it a 1 star. But to me, it was just such a fascinating, frustrating watch that like it was one of my favorites, and I was so shocked to see how many people hated it.
I don't think I will. I think I'll be on board with it because I tend to lean that way as well. I tend to like stuff that other people don't like, or at least find things good about movies that people don't like. I'll find the best in it, so that way I can still find a
Mhm.
way to enjoy it. Um, and I loved the remake. I thought that it was fantastic, and a lot of people kind of came after it because they thought it was too soon, and like why are we adapting it? But I've always defended internet like American remakes of international films because they're a really great gateway into international films.
That's a good way
Like,
to look at it, I guess. Yeah.
like a lot of people, you know, might not have gone to see the original one, but now that the remakes come out, if you like that, you might go back and see that original one.
Mhm.
So I like when they challenge the audience, they do things you're not expecting or do things that might frustrate the audience a little bit. Because I was watching that movie, the remake of it, and was incredibly unsettled the entire time.
And
Like
James McAvoy is so charming. That's the bad part is you're
that's
just like,
I don't think it was I think it was my number one film of 2024. I think if I go back, I think it was my favorite film of the year because there are two moments in particular. The first one is the restaurant sequence where she disappears into his lap, and you're like, "What the hell is going on?"
yeah, you're
Like,
like, what is happening
and why
here?
is everyone cool with this? Like everyone's just letting it happen, and then obviously like it's revealed they're messing with them. But like right then and there, I'd be like, check please.
Yeah, like I
And
mean, even my husband's so nice to people, but like he's
mm,
not my husband's really nice, but he's not like passive, right? Like,
yeah,
and I feel like I'm getting better, like with you, like maybe, but I'm just like at that point, be like, whoa, excuse me, what are you doing?
yeah,
Um, but like even you can just tell that I forget the character's name in the remake, but the man, the husband,
mm,
kind of looks. It's like he like kind of idolizes like the other guy because he's like everything he wishes he could be, like everything that he's not. Like he's strong, he's charismatic, he's like all these things like that he just isn't. And it's and it's like so. I don't want to say pathetic because that's mean, but
mm.
kind of like
He is
like
like
when it comes to your family, like come on.
that's what I talked about. And again, I'm talking about more the remake. But I said like it's very easy to watch that film and be like, wow, James McAvoy is brilliant in this movie. And he is. But Scoot
Hmm.
McNairy, who plays the other husband, is playing this wonderfully pathetic character. Like he is pathetic. And it's not necessarily a negative because he's just trying to keep the peace. He's trying to keep his marriage afloat after his wife like fooled around with some other dude or kind of started this conversation with this other guy. He's trying to keep that going. He's trying to be a good dad. He's trying not to offend people. Like there's so many treacherous waters. And I
Yeah.
think it's a really good parable for living in society today. Like we all have to navigate these treacherous waters. Like living like we were just talking about it before we were talking about J.K. Rowling and
Mm.
Harry Potter. Life is not as simple as it was 50 years ago. Like the things that you say and the things that you do will be around forever in the world of the internet. Like these things are around forever. We need to be mindful. And I think that
Mhm.
in this particular situation, he is being more than mindful. He's leaning too far into it, and he's being courteous to people who are
Yeah.
gonna murder him.
Yeah, and
But
like
it
I don't want to say that he deserved like what his wife did,
certainly
but like
not.
you can understand why it happened. Like
Mm,
I don't condone it, but I can understand like you feel like this person's just so like, oh, this is my life. I'm just kind of along for the ride and I have no choices in anything. And that
mm,
can be very frustrating like as a partner. And I'm not like I said, I'm not saying it's right because I don't think you should be cheating on anybody, but
mm,
like you can understand like why they got to where they are.
mm,
And it's just, but also like I feel bad for him. It's like I'm angry with him and I'm like, stop being so pathetic. Freaking do something. Like,
mm,
this is your wife and child. And like, I mean, same goes too. I don't think that, I think, equally both parents should be like, no matter what gender you are, you should be, hopefully wanting to protect your significant other.
mm.
um, but like, and your child as well. But at the same time, it's like, man, what happened to you in your life to make you so have you always been this way or has something happened? Like,
Yeah.
so there's it's just like I said, the remake is definitely if you want to like more Americanized, more like fun, I guess, movie.
Oh, it's not fun. It's not fun.
Well,
Just a disclaimer to anyone who hasn't seen it's not
okay.
fun. Like it's well made.
Okay. It's not fun, but it is, if you are comparing it to the original, it is fun.
It
Um,
has, like most American remakes, it strives for a happy ending, or at least
yeah.
a resolution. Like these European films in particular,
Mhm.
happiness is not the goal.
Yeah, and James McAvoy is so charismatic that it's
Yeah.
hard not to
Oh, that's what I was
like
gonna
him.
say. The dance sequence, that's the most unsettled I felt in theaters in ages. Like where he's like, do it again. Like keeps making them dance. That was
Yeah.
really tough and really unlikable. And again, I don't know how similar the remake is to the original, but I thought it was a stroke of genius to present the wife the way they did. In the American one, Mackenzie Davis is brilliant. She, I think, is actually the best performance in the film because from very early on, you were taught the movie tells you you're not supposed to like her. She is
Mhm.
the unlikable one in the relationship. She has made the mistake. She has done the wrong thing. And this poor guy is, trying to um, just keep everything together. So you're told not to like, and I don't know if the original's like that as well, but in the American one it is. And then over the course of the film, she is pointing out she is the only one paying attention. But because the film has taught us not to trust her, we don't listen to her. The husband doesn't listen to her. The children don't listen to her. The audience doesn't listen to her. And then she's ultimately vindicated because she's right. She's like, oh my God, like we got fooled
She's
by the
such a
movie.
badass though.
She's so good in it. Like, and it's such a brave role to take on because that is a very unlikable character. Going into this film, no one is on your side. Like you're going to be demonized for the majority of this film, but then she does get that vindication. And she is a badass.
Mhm.
So I don't know how similar it is to the original, but in that I was so impressed by that. I thought it was such a great
Yeah.
technique. Um, so yeah, I know people have come out against the film, specifically the remake, but I've heard some things about the original as well. But like everything they did in that film, that's my kind of movie. I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
like subvert expectation, make me feel uncomfortable during the movie. Like that's what I
Yeah.
go to the movie so I can feel it in a safe environment, not in real life. So
Yeah.
that's why we watch horror films. Like make me scared. Like it's it's terror in a self-contained safe environment. So, like I don't want
Mhm.
to get ripped to shreds, but I will watch every Saw film and see what it looks like. um
Yeah.
so
Well, the remake here, I think does some things a lot better than the original. I feel like there's some you don't really now, granted, do we really know if the wife, the bad wife, I guess I'll call her, was telling the truth? Was she actually his first victim, or was that something she was just saying? The
mm,
age difference suggests maybe,
yeah,
but you don't really get that in like
the original.
yeah, like so you get some of the blanks kind of filled in this one.
I'm cool with them being partners in crime. Look, I'm totally on board with them both being despicable people. I'm also on board with the ambiguity of the remake, where it's like maybe she's a victim, maybe she's not, maybe she's just trying to trick them. I like that as well. So, regardless of how they present it, I'm kind of on board with it. But you've just reminded me how much I want to see that original film. So
Yeah. It's the most frustrating movie you'll ever watch in your life, and I can only imagine you as a parent well, like, I was just thinking about my niece and nephew, and
mm.
I remember I was pacing around the house after, like, watching it because I was so frustrated. I was just like and my husband's like, "You okay?"
Do you know what's really funny is I was going to say, well, I know that I would never put myself in that situation. I don't like strangers. But when
Mhm.
we were in Scotland last year, we met a couple who had a girl the same age as our daughter, and we went out for dinner with them. We went to their house. I'm like, oh my god, I did put myself in that situation. Although I did say many times to my wife, I'm like, how like on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think it is they're trying to murder us? So I at least was self-aware enough to be like, look, let's be mindful. They could be,
Yeah.
maybe they moved to Scotland to find new prey, but they were absolute sweethearts, and we
Yeah.
are still alive, so it's okay.
I'm
Uh,
glad for that.
yes,
Happy for you guys.
unless this is my unfinished business. I'm actually a ghost. I'm not aware of it, and my unfinished business is to record hundreds of episodes of podcasts. Um,
Oh, goodness.
that's a good one. That's a good one. I haven't seen it, but I'm very keen to check it out. I like your list. It's so eclectic. Um, what's number one?
Number 1 is It Chapter 1.
Very cool. I love it. Chapter one. I love It
I
Chapter 2. It Chapter 2 gets a lot of critique, but I like both of them.
Yeah, I don't really understand the hate for chapter 2. I like chapter 2. I like chapter 1 more, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed chapter 2 a lot.
Chapter 2 also James McAvoy. He's getting some representation
Mhm.
today. As if
Yeah.
he wasn't getting enough. Why It Chapter 1? Because I also really like this movie.
Well, as I said, outside of Freddy Krueger, Pennywise, like, was like, the original It was the first movie that truly terrified me. I remember my mom getting slightly angry because I watched it at a friend's house when I was, like, 5, I think, and she was like, "I would not have let you watch that." Um, and, so I remember I held a lot of, like, nostalgia for that, and in my opinion, the original doesn't really hold up as well today. Sorry. I love, what is it, Tim Curry, is that his name?
Yeah, Tim
Am I
Curry. Yeah.
thinking? Yeah, he, um, I'm blanking. Seth Green, John Ritter, there we go, there the names are coming. But I just feel like it didn't age as well as, like, some other horror
Mm,
films do to this day. Like, everyone did a great job, it just, I feel, doesn't really fit as much today, and typically, I like the originals more, but
hmm
when I saw It Chapter 1, I was like, I thought I was going to be disappointed. This was fantastic, and, like, all the kids did so well, like, Finn Wolfhard, like, and then whoever the little guy was, the one who talks really fast. He plays Eddie. I forget the actor's name. He's so freaking good. All of the kids were
Oh, yes, I
so
know. I know who you're
fantastic.
talking
Like,
about. Yes.
and I thought that it was just so different. It was different enough from when was the other one made? What year was that? I don't
So the
remember.
original's 1990, I want to say. The 90s is a miniseries, so it was like a direct-to-TV movie, which a lot of the Stephen King stuff has been because I guess it's cheaper maybe than doing
Mhm.
a theatrical film, and also you get more time to play with if you do it on
Yeah.
TV. So a lot of the Stephen King stuff was done as a TV movie miniseries type thing. I agree with you. I have only seen the original 90s one once, and I watched that in my 20s, and I haven't seen it since then. I've got to go back and check it out again, but I was a little bit underwhelmed by it. I was like, this is the thing everyone's scared of. And then I read the
Yeah.
book and I was like, oh, okay, now I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the original was so, like, again, I watched it when I was, like, 5, my mom
yeah.
wasn't happy about it, like, and it was the most terrifying thing, like, in the entire world. I was like, "This is how I'm going to die." Like, I'm 5 years old, and I'm already thinking I'm gonna get killed by a clown. Um, but, like, I don't know, just the remake, they just felt like everything was just struck gold, like, all the kids were so fantastic, and I'm a huge fan of Stranger Things, so Finn
Yes.
Wolfhard playing, like, it's quite a bit of a different character than his character in Stranger Things, and he's I don't know why, like, when I think about, like, the kids from It and then the kids from Stranger Things, like, I feel like I wanna cry because 'cause I'm just like, "Oh my god, they're not kids anymore," and I hope that they do so well, and I'm so proud of them even though I'm never gonna meet them ever in my life. Like, I have so much, like, how wanna protect these kids you've never met and they're not even kids anymore.
Yeah.
Um, like, it's like, but I don't know, like, and then, Skarsgård, uh
Bill
why am I
Skarsgård?
blanking? I'm blanking on names today.
That's okay. It's all good.
He I was concerned because everyone knows, like, Tim Curry was, like, he was Pennywise,
Mm,
and I was a little concerned, and I went in there and I was like, "Holy crap, that was incredible."
mm.
Like, he was funny, he was even more terrifying, like, and I remember, like, I almost started, like, I don't know what it is, when I was younger, this is gonna make me sound so cruel, but I was one of those people where it's like, who would ever want kids? I don't care about kids in scary movies. Why is everyone so sad when they die?" Like,
Yeah.
and then, like, something changed when I got older, and I'm just like, "Ooh." Um, but, like, in the beginning, everyone knows Georgie dies, but, like,
Mm.
to show his arm get
It's
ripped off and him
brutal.
crawling away, like, I almost started crying. My mom
Yeah.
looked at me, she's like, "It's just a movie, Kayla, it's not real." I'm like, "It's just so sad." Same
Yeah.
thing happened in A Quiet Place, like, when the kid got
Oh, tell me about it. There's a thing in filmmaking because you mentioned like when you were younger, like you didn't care if the kids died. It was pretty rare. Like there's this new thing in horror lately. It's only kind of happened in the last few years, and it might have actually started with It or A Quiet Place. kids are no longer safe in horror films. Like normally kids like the one kind of thing that won't get hurt. Like there are
Yeah.
exceptions, of course, Pet Cemetery. Like Stephen King has always put children in jeopardy in his books. But
Well, yeah, well, we watched Doctor Sleep, and there was a scene in there that was so hard
oof,
to watch. You know what
yeah.
I'm talking about? Yeah, that was so
The baseball
difficult.
boy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
So
hard.
but with the exception of Stephen King, children have been relatively safe. And then over the last couple of years, like we had When Evil Lurks. I don't know if you've seen that, but children are not safe in
Mhm.
that movie. That's a great. It's on Shutter. It's a Chilean film, I think.
Oh, I
Um,
haven't seen that,
it's
no.
really it's a possession film, but it's like the
You said
most
where evil leaks? Or
when
not
evil
leaks,
lurks.
lurks,
When
not
evil
leaks. I'm like,
leaks.
what?
I want to say that
Words,
movie.
words are really hard today, you
Yeah.
guys.
Um, so that one's pretty good, and that but children aren't safe in that one. Even in the Terrifier films, like Terrifier 3,
Oh,
it
yeah.
opens with a child and an axe, and yeah, children aren't safe in horror films anymore. And as a parent, I don't love it, but as a horror fan, I'm like, oh, I like that we're taking the
Yeah.
gloves off. I like that we're going because I think they're running out of things to do. They're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to see
Well,
at the time of the recording, I'm going to see Weapons next week. I'm going to the premiere for that, and that seems to be just children and violence for 2 hours. So, um,
well,
yeah,
I think I don't know how it is in Australia, but I mean, it may be the same considering you just said what you said about kids, but like, I feel like other countries like um don't stay away from child death in horror films as much as like American films do. But I remember like I don't know. I don't want to say I think it's a good thing because like, one, the Terrifier movies, like I had to force myself through the second one because I think I blocked out part of the bedroom scene in there, and
it's
those.
rough. It's rough. Like, thank God it looks like rubber. Like, if it was like because I was terrified to watch that one. Not that I was going to think it was scary, but I was like, even as a kind of like grizzled gore fan, I have limits as well. There are certain films I
Yeah.
will not watch.
Yeah. Well, I had someone tell me, I was it you? It may have been you or Michael, like, or like both of you, maybe. I remember being like, I don't know if I'm going to see the third Terrifier. Like, I want to love them so bad just because I like Art the Clown, but they're just too much for me somehow. Like, but when I saw the kid in the trailer, I was like, oh, look, I didn't even enjoy seeing that girl in that bedroom scene, and
Mm,
she was supposed to be, I think, a teenager. I don't want to
yeah,
see a kid get by
inter
Art the Clown.
yeah. I was talking about this for a long time before the third one came out. The problem I had with those films because I've watched them all a bunch of times. I've watched them all a few times now, and my whole thing with the first two films is like I don't know if I enjoy them, but I can watch them and be like, this is a well made horror film. This is well used of practical effects and gore. The problem I had was that Art the Clown is not a redemptive character. Like if you look at all your horror films, like Jason is a tragic figure. Like he drowned as a boy, his mother had her head cut off. Like you might not agree with him, but you understand it. Freddy Krueger, at least the 80s version, whilst his past is cloudy, we're not quite sure what happened. He was burned alive by people based on hearsay. We don't actually know whether he actually committed the crimes, but he was burnt alive by all these adults regardless. Most of our horror villains have tragic backgrounds where you're like, okay, well, at least, even though I don't agree with what they're doing, I can see why they're doing it. And the kills are not, um, they're not cruel. Like they're over pretty quickly. It's like slash slash.
Mm.
Terrifier, Art the Clown, we don't know his backstory. It just seems like he enjoys being cruel. So they're kind of mirthlessly cruel and unpleasant. And he is a serial killer for the sake of I find it funny. And so
Yeah, and
because he has no kind of like backstory, because there's no
mhm,
humanity to latch onto, I think I found him kind of hard to enjoy as a villain. However, whilst I think three is the darkest of the films, it also I think is the first film to get the balance right. It's equal parts humor and horror. So it's actually for me the most enjoyable of the three, and I do like.
okay.
I can say there's one scene like we were talking about Freddy's glove in the bathtub before. There is one scene in Terrifier 3.
The glass.
Yep. Okay, so you're aware
Oh.
of it. Cannot
I'm
justify it. Cannot
I
justify
will
it.
I've decided if I'm ever going to watch that movie that it's okay for people to I usually hate spoilers, but I'm like, "No, spoil it. I don't care.
Yeah, I
Spoil everything
read
for
so
me."
the Terrifier film is one of the few franchises I have read spoilers. I watched the first one not knowing what it was going into it, but with 2 and 3, I did read the spoilers because I was like, "Look, like, Human Centipede was another one. I've seen those films once each. I don't need to watch them again. I needed to know what I was getting myself into, even though that's kind of worse because then you build it up in
Mhm.
your head. But I think if you build it up in your head, then the reality is often not as bad. So it kind of
Yeah,
helps.
that's
I'm with
true.
you on that. Yeah.
But, yeah, where were we go Oh, yeah, the kids. I was gonna say, I don't wanna
Yeah.
say that
Sorry.
I'm glad that they're doing it because it's not like I wanna see kids dying, but also I think we do kind of now I know horror films a lot of times are supposed to be fun, like, not all of them, but there are
Mm,
a lot of times you're just supposed to go have fun, like, a good adrenaline rush
yeah.
for you're not actually in any danger type of thing, right? But I think sometimes we get a little too desensitized, so I think kinda throwing that in there and reminding people like, "Oh, these are actually supposed to be people," that you
Yeah.
don't it doesn't quite register until you throw a child in there, and then you're like, "Oh, yeah, it is supposed to be a person, isn't it?"
Yeah, that's and like I think that like is very true, especially of the slasher genre. Like slashers kind of took over for a long time. Like we got the kind of you can track it back to Psycho and Peeping Tom and stuff back in the 60s if you want to, but like the real golden age of the slasher begins with Halloween, then all through the 80s, all through the 90s, and through most of
Mhm.
the 2000s. Like, because then we started remaking all the slashers. And now we've got Art the Clown, but we haven't had a slasher for a while, with the exception of him. So those films became very cookie cutter. It was like, you're going to get five teens. You're going to like one of them because she's pure and innocent and she's smart. The rest are all idiots. You're going to watch them get killed in succession, and you're going to have
Mhm.
fun, and you're going to forget that they're human beings. And now we're in this new era of horror where they're like, oh, we're going to do that, maybe, but oh boy, you're not going to like it. And
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, typically in a horror film, you're like, "Oh shit, here he comes," and here
yeah,
you're like, "Oh shit, here he comes."
yeah, we got to this point where we were rooting for the villain. I think we're now back at a place where although that being said, Art the Clown has been very endearing to a lot of people.
I
Um,
do love Art the Clown until he kills someone, I'll say that.
he, the first time I saw the design of that character, I was like, well, that is pure nightmare fuel. That is the
Mhm.
scariest looking villain I've ever seen. The way that like kids in the 80s reacted to Freddy Krueger, as you mentioned before, looking at Art the Clown, like he's almost worse when he is smiling.
Yeah, the
It's
man who
just
plays him is so good.
David Howard Thornton.
Yeah, he's
I
so good.
he was in a film earlier this year, a short film, like a fan film, a Batman movie. They made a film about the Joker, and he played the Joker in that. And he's wonderful as the Joker. Like it's such a. I'm like, oh, like maybe people at Warner Brothers should be paying attention because I know he's played one clown, but why not play both of them? But I got
Mhm.
to interview the director of that short film, and
Oh,
he had all
nice.
these lovely stories to tell about David Howard Thornton. So yeah, he's great as Art the Clown, but
Mhm.
so horrible to look at. So horrible to look at. Like he, I think, is the most unpleasant one. Although now, like now that I've seen it a few times, I'm more comfortable. But I think if you line up all the horror villains from like the last couple of decades in a room, he's the one I'm most afraid of. Like,
Yeah, if you're gonna ask me who I'd want to be I don't wanna be murdered by any of them. I don't wanna
mm,
be I don't know if you can say that. Yeah, I don't wanna be by anybody,
mm,
but, like, especially not him. But
yeah,
I think he's probably been the scariest clown since Pennywise. I'll say.
yeah,
Just wrap it
yeah.
back around there, I guess. But sorry, I know we keep getting off topic. I do this
Th-
sometimes. I'm
that's
sorry
okay.
about
That's
that.
the show. And like,
Um,
I was like, we're gonna keep this one short, and we have been going for 2 hours. So, um,
but yeah, like I think with it is I just really love like that these stories about kids who kind of are overcoming this really terrible thing and they're doing it all by themselves.
yes,
Like and it's just kind of it's also like nostalgic. Like I mean, I wasn't alive in the 80s. I believe that's when this one was. Wait, was it no or was it 90s? Oh, wait.
um, the,
Ooh.
this one is set in the 80s and the
Okay.
present day. The
Yeah.
original is set in the 50s and then the present day,
Okay.
which is the
Yeah.
80s.
I just
Um,
remember New Kids on the Block. I was like, "Wait, I don't remember New Kids on the Block, but that was I was a '90s baby." Okay, but, like, anyway, I just I think, it's very difficult sometimes, and I feel Harry Potter does it, and though this is a very different genre, I think It Chapter 1 does it very well of you're watching these and you're transported back into, like, being a child and what though you weren't ever in those situations, obviously, like, what being a child felt like or like, your imagination as a child and what in your imagination would you do if you were put in this terrible situation, like, and like kinda like the power of friendship and like leaning on each other and those days when you didn't really it's just I don't know, and then obviously just transforming into some of your worst fears is just
mm.
a nightmare.
And it also like kind of jumps back to what we are talking about with Nightmare on Elm Street before as well, which is this is a bunch of kids who no one is listening to.
Mhm.
Like the adults who are supposed to be protecting these children, like, are hapless. That
Yeah,
and
and
often a source of a greater source of misery for the children than Pennywise. It's like
yeah,
Beth,
like,
like
her father's scarier than Pennywise, in my opinion, like, that was
yeah.
rough, like, I'm sure you know the scene I'm talking about was really hard to watch,
Mm.
I'm glad that they didn't go any further with it than they did,
And I know a lot of people criticize that scene for being too on the nose. Like in the book, I think it's more inferred. It's been a minute since I've read the book. I don't know if I ever need to read the book again. It's really well written,
it's
but it
really
is
long.
it's real and it's really dark. Like
There's some stuff in there I'm glad they didn't put in.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's obviously that one particular scene, but even like when they're talking about the bullies, is it Hofstadter? Is he one of the bullies? There's like I can't remember the names now.
I can't remember.
Not the main bully, not the one with the switchblade, but he's got a buddy, and his buddy. There's a whole like chapter or where he's where they're talking about how like he locked a kitten or like a puppy
Oh,
in a
yeah.
fridge, like
Yeah, yep. I remember I, skimmed that very quickly, and then I think I, uh, skimmed, and I wish I woulda just skipped a paragraph because there was something with a dog
yeah, that's what
that
yeah
I
is.
yeah.
Your dog's like what? What are you talking about? um,
You're too
it
young to know, Lily.
it's a great yeah. You can watch it when you're older. It's a great flick. I really enjoyed it. Chapter one. I think I went and saw that by myself in theaters, um, and just had a blast with it. Yeah, really great flick. And part two is really good as well. The adult cast is fantastic.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and when it like we'll wrap it up in a second. But when they go back to Bev's childhood home and there's the old woman, but she's not actually an old woman, holy Christ, that might be one of the scariest things. Like one of the, I knew it was
It was
coming, and it got me so good. Like yeah,
it was, like, scary, but I also laughed.
yeah, it's
I Bill Skarsgård, though, was just, like the way, like, he did the whole, like, talking to Georgie and then he like, in the
yeah,
beginning, and then he just, like, dead stare, and I'm like,
mm,
"Sir,
yeah,
could you not do that?"
and the eyeball thing, how he can like make his eye go sideways. Like that's not
Yeah,
CG.
that's so
That's
crazy.
yeah. Um, Kayla, I'm so glad we could have you back on the show and do a full episode. Like, so sorry last time we had to cut it short, but I was so
No
excited to get you
worries.
back because I knew we would have some fun talking. And your list is awesome. I love it. I love there's so much horror on there and a lot of stuff we haven't talked about. Like, I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast before. I don't know if we've talked about.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of friends who like horror. Normally, it's my
Oh.
American guests who come on and talk about horror. So, so I appreciate it. Before we get out of here, we have a rapid fire question round, and this is just I haven't prepped you for the questions. It's just questions about your movie watching habits,
Okay.
and then I will release you back into your life. Um, so I know you're more of a TV person now, but what was the last movie you watched?
The last movie I watched was Bring Her Back.
Oh, how is that? I haven't seen it yet.
It was good. It was a little different than I thought it was going to be, but I really liked the protagonist,
Mhm.
and there were a couple of scenes where I was like, "Oh, oh, okay." But oh, I'm so sorry. I know that you're gonna hate me for this. I was about to say I don't know if it's an Australian or New Zealand film. I can't remember.
It is Australian, yeah. That's by
I'm
the
so
guys who.
sorry.
That's okay. It's all right. The Raka Raka boys. They had like a YouTube channel for ages, and they did Talk to Me, which I loved as
Yeah,
well.
I was gonna say that was I couldn't remember what you were like. Were there some honorable mentions? But I'd only seen it once. That was
Mm,
the one. That was one of them that I'd only seen once that I wanted to put on there because I thought that was so good. Was Talk to Me.
mm. Nice one. Yeah, I missed it in theaters. I really wanted to see Bring Her Back. Apparently, it's very much a story about grief, and it's as
Hmm.
scary as it is. It's also very sad. So I do want to check it
Yeah,
out. I might have to wait for Blu-ray, but I think it's out like next month, so I'll be on it
yeah,
soon.
I recommend it. It was a good watch.
Nice. All right. Now we all have at least one movie we haven't watched that we know we should have. So what's the movie on your watch list that's been sitting there forever? You need to get to it and you haven't for whatever reason.
Ghostbusters.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can understand that. Like I don't like a lot of people like to gatekeep films like that. Like I didn't watch the first two Terminator films until I was way into my 20s. Like Ghostbusters was made in 1984. You were born in the 90s. Like by the time you were old enough, like my daughter wants to watch Ghostbusters.
Mhm.
She's too young for it. Like she won't be able to watch it until she's probably 8. So that she's got another 3 years ahead of her. At that point, the movie will be over 30 years old. It'll be almost 40 years old. Like that's not her fault. And it's not your fault for being born after the movie was made.
Yeah,
Um,
it's one of those movies I'm always like, I'm gonna watch this, but I want to be in the mood to watch it. And when I sit down, I'm not in the mood to watch it, so I watch something else.
it's fun. It's definitely worth your time. Like, although it'd be interesting to see your perspective, like, because you're watching it for the first time over 30 years later, you might be like, you know what?
Yeah,
Maybe it was good at the time, but for me, this is garbage.
I mean
Um,
Bill Murray, so
yeah, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd before he went totally insane. Um, Rick Moranis before he retired, although he's back now, which is cool. Yeah,
yeah,
it's good fun. Um, I think I know the answer to this 'cause I think we've touched on it already, but are you a movie crier?
a movie. It. I try not to be, but I will cry in a movie.
Why not? Why don't you want to
If
cry in a movie?
I will cry like with no hesitation if I'm by myself, but I don't.
Ah, yep.
I don't like the idea of like someone like, which is funny because I cry over everything. I cry when I'm angry. I cry when I'm sad. Like I cry, like I'm a crier in real life.
Mm.
Like, but like in a movie, I'm just like, man, this is gonna be so embarrassing if they see me cry.
um,
But I do cry even when I try, though I try not to.
yeah, I'm a big movie crier. I don't cry in real life. I'm the opposite. It's not because I'm tough. It's because I'm broken. But I do cry in movies. So if I ever need to cry, if I feel like a buildup of emotion, I haven't cried in a while. I'm like, all right, what's the film gonna be? Like, which one's gonna get me there today? And I'll schedule a
But
cry.
do you have a cry movie, like a
I
specific?
The Whale is a really good one for crying. But The Big Sick always gets me at the end. And then like stuff that you be like the one I most what did I cry? Oh, actually, the most recent movie I cried to was probably Elio. I took my daughter to see
Okay.
Elio, and that one made me cry quite a bit.
Mm.
I think I cried in Fantastic Four as well. I know I did. Yeah, I cried in Fantastic Four. I cry in everything. I cry in Spider Man No Way Home. Like I cry in Avengers. Like I just cry all the time. So you know, because I'm like I can't believe it's this good. Um,
Oh.
very good. Do you follow actors and actresses? Is there an actor or an actress that if they're in a film, you're going to follow them no matter what the movie is?
Right now, which I
Oh,
need to see. Like I said, big celebrity crush. I'm going. I need to see Fantastic Four, Joseph Quinn. Like I'm just like,
oh!
oh,
I thought your crush was Pedro because you mentioned Pedro before. I didn't realize it was Joseph Quinn.
oh,
But you
I
mentioned A
love
Quiet
him
Place Day
too.
One, so yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
I was just like, I'm like, yeah. And then also, oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Paul Rudd, if I see something with him in it,
mm,
a lot of times I will see something. Just I feel like everyone loves Paul Rudd. Like
how can
I
you not?
saw, what was it, Friendship? I think is what it
Oh,
was.
how's that? I haven't
Yeah,
seen that yet.
I enjoyed it.
It's meant to be very weird, which
It
is
was a
very
bit strange. Like it's a, it's one of those where I can understand if people like it, but I can also understand if they don't.
yeah.
Um,
Tim Robinson is not the most accessible comedian. Like he's very out there, and like that's not for everyone. So I'm
yeah,
keen to check it out. It hasn't
yeah,
hit theaters here in Australia yet,
yeah.
so
I will admit, I thought it was going to be better than it was for some reason, but I
okay,
still enjoyed it.
okay.
Yeah.
We don't like to be too negative on the show. Clearly, we're celebrating everything, including the movies that you were worried about discussing. But what's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to let's see. The worst movie I've ever seen. This is harder. This is really hard. Because I feel like I kind of block a lot of things out when I hate them. um, oh gosh. I'm trying to think here. I know that there are some where I hated and absolutely hated them, but they're not coming to mind right now.
That's okay. We don't have to answer the
Yeah.
question.
I'll probably think about it later and then just like message you.
Yeah, I'll put a little disclaimer at the start of the episode. Kayla couldn't remember at the time, but the worst movie is Ghostbusters. She finally watched it and she trashed it.
Oh, oh, okay. This isn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's a movie that I don't freaking understand the hype for. So can we go with that?
Yeah, go for it.
It follows.
Interesting. Interesting. I get it. I really like It Follows, but that is about as indie as a horror movie can get. Like it's
Yeah.
very slow. It's a lot of long, wistful shots of people walking away from things. It's not like when it hits, it's very scary. Like the scene on the beach is quite full on and stuff like that. But it's a very quiet, very slow movie. So I understand you being like, "Ah, it's not for me."
Well, I think it was hyped up so much, and I almost bought the movie because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna love this." Everyone's like coming through my. It was when I worked at Walmart. Everyone's
Mm,
buying this. Everyone loves it. Like, and I decided, no, let me just rent it for now.
mm,
Like, and then I watched it, and I like laughed in parts that I wasn't supposed to laugh in,
mm.
and I was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if it was just because it was hyped up as much as it was. And there's another reason, which I don't want to get too negative because I don't want to harp on actual humans on here, but I'll tell you afterwards.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Um, yeah, I totally get it. I was worried about that with Talk to Me because that was like a couple of years ago. I was like, it's amazing, it's the most amazing horror film ever. And waited long enough that I went past the hype train and then when people started turning on it. So then by the time I watched it, I'd heard both sides of it. I was like, no, this is quite good. And Australia was due for a good horror
It.
film. We hadn't made a good one in a while. So
It
um,
was so good. I love what would the correct word be? Would it be allegory? I don't know. Why are words so hard today for like addiction, kind of
yes.
like.
Yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
thought that was such an interesting spin and way to kind of frame
Mm.
that.
It's frustrating that we both are struggling with words, and we both are like we're writers.
Yeah.
They're like,
Look, this is
what?
why I put them on the page. I don't
Yeah.
speak them well.
Oh yes, absolutely. Um, and then my final question, Kayla, is what's one movie they should never remake?
They should never remake. Ooh. Oh, I hate to say that because I feel like sometimes it's good for newer generations to get something newer, even if I'm going to hate it. And because a lot of times they won't like the older looking stuff. But if I have to pick one, I'm gonna go between two, but one no, because that one's still a franchise that's on and running, so I'm not going to say that one right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and say The Breakfast Club. But at the
Oh,
same
good
time
pick.
but at the same time, I feel like that'd be really good for a newer generation, but if I'm being, like, very selfish of just, like, nostalgic purposes, even though I wasn't born yet, like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, even though it would probably be very nice for a new generation.
I think that's a good one. I haven't. No one. I think no one's ever said that one before. I don't think the most common answer is Back to the Future. People say that one
Mm.
quite a bit. Jurassic Park is another one they say, although they keep making Jurassic
Oh,
movies.
yeah. That was
Um,
yeah.
but no, I think Breakfast Club. It's very much of its time. Like, and I don't think you could make that movie the way John Hughes made it these days. Like,
Yeah.
because it's
And
an
I
R, like it's an R, like isn't it? In America, it's an R. For us, it's an M. Anyway, like you're 13, you can go check it out here. But
Yeah,
that would be a tough one to make and to capture what he was trying to do with that story. I don't think you could retell it
yeah.
effectively. So that's a good
I
one.
just feel like it was so good. And like I said, I hate saying that because on one hand, I'm like, I just feel like I love the original so much that that's why I'm saying it.
Mm,
But then if I'm thinking realistically, I'm like, but realistically, like for like the people who are in high school now, it probably would be really good for them.
mm.
Like, so
What was
I
the other
struggle
one?
with
What was the
that.
one where you're like, oh, I'm not going to list
I
that
was
one.
gonna say Scream. The OG
Yeah,
Scream.
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good one as well. I mean, I guess, yeah, it's an existing franchise, so they can keep building on the lore without technically remaking. So I understand.
Mhm.
Um, you've done it, Kayla. You've survived the 90-minute podcast that ended up being over 2 hours long. So we've done well there. Before we get out of here, thank you, first of all, so much for coming on. I've been really looking forward to finally catching up and doing a proper episode with you. So it's been nice to have you
Yes,
back and
this was
talk
fun.
movies. Before we get out of here, where can they find you? Where can they check out some of your work?
All right. Well, um, gosh, oh my God, what is wrong with me? I have a YouTube channel called Stories by Kayla. And I take and even if you don't like Taylor Swift, you don't have to like Taylor Swift to really like I put little references in there that people, if they know it's inspired by a Taylor Swift song, they'll catch them. But if not, you don't have to even. In fact, you can hate her. I hope you don't, but you can hate her and hopefully still enjoy the stories. I get inspiration from her songs and twist them into horror stories. And I haven't done that in a little while. Me and my friend who's doing it with me, we're taking a bit of a hiatus. But so you can check that out on YouTube, Stories by Kayla. Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. Kayla's on all the socials as well. She's being very modest right now, but
Oh yeah.
I will tag Kayla on everything. I'll put in links in the show notes so you can find her and support her. Go check her out. She's obviously a blast, a lot of fun to talk to and listen to, and a very cool story mind as well. Like some of the stories are very, very cool. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you dug it. Go support Kayla. Support us as well. You can check us out on all the socials. We're now on TikTok and YouTube, which I still don't understand, but we're there. So go like things and share them. That helps the algorithm, the dreaded A word. And that's it. We'll be back next week with another episode. But until then, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. We'll see you next week.
Back to the future, Midsommar, Die Hard and Dune. Where's my car? The Matrix, Jurassic Park and Clerks, and Christopher Nolan's collected works. I was a teenage film